Texas Stadium, San Francisco and Dallas. One of the keys, the offensive line for the Cowboys, and their line coach is Hudson Houck, and we had a chance to eavesdrop a little bit earlier.
How did you feel after this game last week? Think back. How did you feel? What do we got?
Start fast on three, baby. Start fast on three. 1, 2, 3. Stop.
That whole offensive line possibly could be in the Pro Bowl for the NFC. They're that good. The 49ers will have first crack at it, however, as Dexter Carter, just signed last week, a former 49er, gets the opening kickoff of the Dallas team, does its job on coverage. Charlie Williams down to make the stop. Elvis Gerbach opens at quarterback behind this somewhat makeshift offensive line. Strafford, Sofolo, Oates, Rod Milstead, and Harris Barton. Steve Wallace will not play. Derek Lavelle, Adam Walker with a broken thumb will open at fullback. Taylor, Rice, and Brent Jones the receivers. Elvis Gerbach, 6'5", 220 pounds. This is Derek Lavelle. The 49ers sweep gets 5. Up to make this stop.
Deion Sanders lines up on Jerry Rice in the first play, Pat. And one thing about Deion Sanders, he is physical on the line of scrimmage. And I'll tell you another thing about Jerry Rice. He is also physical.
And he is an excellent blocker.
And you have to remember, just on that play was going away from those two guys.
Wait till they come at him.
Now we'll be talking.
Two tight ends for the 49ers now, 2nd and 7. Gerbach to throw it. Wide open is Jerry Rice, and off to the races is Jerry Rice. Rice, touchdown from Gerbach. $81 yards.
About the Cowboys, and he's heard what they were going to do, and this team's down and that team's down. But there's one player that came out on this field fired up today. It was Jerry Rice.
And you always talk about, when you talk about Rice, the length of the run after the catch. That was an 8-yard pass and a run after the catch of 73 yards. Jeff Wilkins, newly signed this week for the extra point. And let's look at that touchdown again.
Well, he's going to start off. He's here in the slot. Now Deion Sanders is not on him. This is a form of zone. Now, anytime Jerry Rice catches the ball, he wants to catch it on the run, and the next thing he does is run straight up the field. He doesn't go sideways. He doesn't look at the sidelines. He doesn't do anything. He runs right towards and at the end zone. Look at Charles Haley here coming on this rush. He starts on an inside rush. He got to Elvis Gerbach just as he got that ball to Jerry Rice.
If it had been more than an 8-yard pass, he would not have thrown it.
See, and again, this was the zone defense. What you see is Darren Smith, the linebacker, was the first guy that is supposed to reroute him, and get him going in a different direction. But once Jerry Rice got inside of Darren Smith, Elvis Gerbach hit him, like you said, about 8 yards, and he just took off right up through a zone defense.
If you're pursuing Jerry Rice, you better make sure you have the right angle.
He's not the fastest guy in the league. In fact, they're always talking about the speed of Jerry Rice, but I've never seen anyone catch him from behind.
I haven't either. I saw him lose the ball a couple of times.
Look, they all come out for this one, don't they? I'll tell you, when someone scores a touchdown, you're liable to see anyone down there.
So the 49ers will kick it off. Wilkins to kick off. Jeff Wilkins, Deion Sanders, and Brock Marion are deep. Kevin Williams fields ejected. Kevin gets to about the 26 before he's taken down by Chris Thomas. And let's look at the Cowboy offense. They're behind 7-0, led by Troy Aikman. that huge veteran good offensive line in front of him. Tuinei, Newton, Donaldson, Allen, and Williams. Emmitt Smith will be deep. Darrell Johnston, the blocker. Kevin Williams, Michael Irvin, and Jay Novacek. Weapons everywhere. They're going to need them.
Boy, that Jerry Rice could line up a play. And everyone was kind of sitting here wondering what was going to happen, waiting for the Cowboys to get it out. And boom, he just lit up this play.
Quieted it down in a hurry. Aikman's going to throw. Blitz coming. He had to get rid of it. Blitz off the corner by Marquez Pope. He was in Aikman's face quickly.
You have to knock Troy Aikman down, and they wanted to do it on the first play.
Here is the 49er defense. Jackson, Stubblefield, Bryant Young, and Dennis Brown, the front four. Plummer, Norton, and Woodall, three fine linebackers. Marquez Pope, who just blitzed. Merton Hanks and Tim McDonald, the safeties. And Eric Davis.
See, Marquez Pope is number 23, lined up like he's going to cover as a corner and just blitzes from that position, but lets Troy Aikman know that they're going to come from every position today.
2nd and 10. Aikman. Irvin lost it. Hanks picked it up. Hanks headed for the end zone. Another touchdown for San Francisco. Boy, you said in the beginning they have to get some turnovers, and they have struck in a hurry.
It's exactly what happened last year. Look, we talked about last year. The Cowboys had 5 turnovers. And those 5 turnovers turned into 21 points for the 49ers. I think Barry Switzer's in shock. I think this whole crowd is in shock.
Should be. 36-yard return by Merton Hanks. Watch it again.
You see Michael Irvin catches the ball on Marquez Pope. Marquez Pope knocked that ball out of there. And it was a fumble. Merton Hanks was right there to pick it up and run it in. The one thing the 49ers were going to do is they wanted to hit or be near or knock Troy Aikman down on every pass.
Wilkins' extra point is good, and it's 14-0 with 13:36 left to play in the first quarter.
That's the reason you play him. Who would have thought this?
The Dallas trainers taking a look at Troy Aikman's left leg. He was hit hard, remember, on that blitz by Pope.
He's looking at that knee right there. He's pointing to a position there.
Yep. He was hit on a blitz by Marcus Pope on the first play. Had to dump the ball off, and then the second one was complete to Michael Irvin, who fumbled, and Merton Hanks, who lives in Dallas, from Dallas, played high school football in Dallas, returned it for the touchdown from 36 yards away. Is it loose?
You know, and this is just how the championship game started.
Exactly.
Remember the Troy Aikman threw an interception. That was to Eric Davis. He scored a touchdown. Again, we talked about how they had 5 turnovers in that game. 49ers got way out in front of them early in the game, and the Cowboys had to fight back the entire game. Darn near went back to win it.
Wilkins to kick it off. The 2 will return it. He is dragged down at about the 16 by Steve Israel. I'd like to welcome those of you watching Tampa Bay and Detroit, Carolina, St. Louis, to Texas Stadium, where that score is correct. San Francisco 14, Dallas nothing, and that time is correct too. 13:28 left in the first quarter.
And they did check Troy Aikman out. He came out, they checked his knee out, and then they put everything back together, and he's in there now.
1st and 10 from the 17. Emmitt Smith is deep. The handoff to Emmitt Smith. Nothing. Maybe a yard. Ricky Jackson to make the stop.
Up to the 19-yard line.
Rice, 81 yards from Gerbach. On an 8-yard pass that Rice took 73. Aikman complete pass to Michael Irvin. He fumbled. And Merton Hanks picked it up and went in from 36 yards away. 2nd and 8 here now as Emmitt Smith got 2. Aikman to throw it. Novacek, not much. Tim McDonald with him quickly. Took him down.
You know, one of the things, the last 2 games that they played, Emmitt Smith didn't have over 100 yards in either one of them, and I think part of the secret to keeping Emmitt Smith down is getting ahead, you know, and make the Cowboys feel like they have to throw all the time.
3rd and 4. 3rd down conversions, 45%, the 5th best in the NFL. 14-0 San Francisco leads Dallas. Aikman throws. Pass is intercepted by Norton. Ricky Jackson, I beg your pardon.
And they're starting this game just like we talked about, just like the championship game. If the 49ers are going to win, so far in this first quarter, they've done everything that they have to. These are the kinds of things they had to do. They cause a fumble. They run it in. Gerbach gets the ball to Jerry Rice, and now we just see Ricky Jackson come up with an interception.
Ricky Jackson, of course, was a linebacker for most of his years. Now he's playing defensive end, so he's familiar with this kind of thing.
But you're going to see him. He starts out here like he's going to rush, and then he just drops back.
Yeah.
That was one of those zone blitzes. He was up in a position to rush, and he dropped back, and I think Aikman expected him to rush.
Derek Lavelle, 1st and 10 for San Francisco, gets inside the 25.
Let's just look at Ricky Jackson. This is usually his rush position. He rushes over Eric Williams there, and you're going to see instead of rushing there, see, Eric Williams expects him to rush. He just drops back, and he gets into that slant area. He gets between Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin. That was a good defense, a good defensive call by the coordinator, Pete Carroll.
Totally unexpected by Troy Aikman.
We're seeing more and more of that in this league, of zone blitzes where linemen drop off into pass coverage.
Here's Elvis Gerbach to throw it. Open inside the 10 is Ted Popson, I believe. Yes. One of the 2 tight ends. Those of you watching Atlanta and Buffalo, welcome to Texas Stadium, where it's the 49ers 14, Dallas nothing. And the 49ers have it 1st and goal at the Dallas 9.
You know, one thing you never want to do is give a young quarterback confidence early, and the Cowboys have done that with Elvis Gerbach. He is full of confidence now.
Dexter Carter is split wide to the left. That was Lavelle in motion. Incomplete. Gerbach rushed by Russell Maryland. Had to hurry.
Because the 49ers came into this thing, and and everyone was expecting it with all the injuries. William Floyd is out, and Steve Young. They don't have this guy and that guy, and they thought that they would just just give up this game, just go on. But they don't have that idea the way they're playing this first quarter.
They're tired of people talking about them and talking down to them. The 49ers, that we're a one-man team. Steve Young. Gerbach gives to Derek Lavelle. He gets to about the 7, stopped by Darren Smith. It'll be 3rd and goal from there.
The one thing you have to remember is that their defense is number 1, and defense can make things happen and score touchdowns, and that's what they've done thus far. You look at George Seifert. It was ironic. We thought that he'd be kind of tight yesterday, but he was very relaxed, wasn't he?
Steve Young behind him talking to him.
Gardner hit him in the face.
Yeah. 3rd and goal at the 8. Here's Gerbach to throw it. Rice off his fingertips and out of the end zone. He had him.
Well, that's the one we're waiting for. When you get down there for the touchdown, there's Deion Sanders against Jerry Rice. That's the matchup. There's Jerry Rice. There's Deion. Again, Deion Sanders, very physical. physical at the line of scrimmage, but Jerry Rice can also be very physical. Now, had Gerbach gotten that ball there a little sooner, that could have been a touchdown.
It surely could have. It still could have been. New kicker Jeff Wilkins with Elvis Gerbach holding. Wilkins just signed. 26-yard field goal makes it 17-0. The 49ers over the Cowboys with still over 10 minutes left to play in the first quarter.
Volkswagen, on the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. Drivers wanted. By IBM, solutions for a small planet. And by Visa, official card of the NFL.
Well, the horse came to eat, and so did the 49ers. And they're ahead 17-0. In the first quarter, Wilkins set to kick it off.
I think that whole Dallas Cowboys sideline and this whole Dallas Cowboy crowd is in shock.
They should be. Wilkins' kick is a good one. Sails deep to Kevin Williams, who downs it in the end zone. It's 1st and 10, Cowboys from their own 20. John Blake over talking to Tony Tolbert and the rest of the defensive unit. 17-0 San Francisco. It's in the background, Texas Stadium with that famous hole in the roof. And a lot of shot coming out of that hole right now. As it's 17-0 San Francisco. Here's Emmitt Smith. For about 8. Tripped up by Tim McDonald.
Yeah, that's the way to get them going. To me, Emmitt Smith is the heart and soul of this offense. And they got in behind Nate Newton. You see that big Nate Newton, the left guard, pulls. Now, anytime you get Nate pulling, and you see you're going to get Nate pulling right here, and he comes around here, and then Emmitt Smith is going to get right in behind him. So anytime you got a big guard like that, you just find him. There's 61. That's like old Highway 61.
Got to about the 20, knocked backwards from there. Got to about the 30, beg your pardon.
Because I think one thing that Ernie Zampese, the offensive coordinator, has to remember is that even though they're down 17-0, there's still 9 minutes left in the first quarter. So
it happened so quickly.
Time is not of the essence here.
Not yet.
No, so you can just kind of run your offense, and you don't have to get into that, panic type of thing. You can just go out and play and get things rolling, because the Cowboys haven't started anything rolling yet.
That's what you have to do. Third and very short. Darrell Johnson got across that yard line marker. That's as far as he had to get. So it's a first down.
And that's not easy yardage in there when you have Dana Stubblefield and Bryant Young. I think if there's any area where the 49ers defense is tough, it's right in this area, these two guys, because if you're going to run inside, you have to get them blocked.
Illegal formation called against Dallas. Stone, who comes in on short yardage situations, apparently didn't report correctly.
That's going to take that first down away, and instead of being 3rd and 1, it's going to be like 3rd and 6.
Bob McElwee. Third down now, and about 5.5. They had the first down. It was called back. Aikman gets it to Novacek, who gets the first down this time. Ken Norton made the stop.
That was interesting yesterday when Troy Aikman was talking about Jay Novacek, and how much confidence he has in Jay Novacek. Like at one point, I think he got a little carried away. He says, when Jay Novacek retires, I don't want to play anymore. I'm going to retire.
Then he said, maybe I will.
Well, maybe he will, but I think that that's the kind, that you have a penalty, you need a first down. Who do you look for? Jay Novacek.
Aikman back to throw again. Gets it this time again to Novacek.
Watch watching Troy Aikman out there, Pat, he's not moving right.
No, he's not.
You know, he did have that calf injury earlier, and then I think he hurt his knee in this game. You know, we saw the shot where they were working on him with the knee brace. Whether it was that hit that Marquez Pope hit him on or not, I'm not sure, but he's not moving properly here.
The calf injury was on the right leg. Now, this is the left knee, and you're right, he's not walking like he normally does. 2nd and 5. Down goes Aikman, taken down by Dana Stubblefield. No, he's not moving right.
No, and if they don't start blocking Dana Stubblefield, in fact, he's having a hard time getting up right here. In fact, he's not going to get up right here. Troy Aikman is down. Here's Dana Stubblefield here, and he's the guy that has really given the Cowboys problems in the past. He starts out there on Nate Newton, and then he just throws Nate to the right side, and Troy Aikman was moving to that side, and Dana Stubblefield takes him down.
Remember, as John Madden said a moment ago, they were looking at Troy's left knee earlier.
You see right here, just getting it bent and just being taken down, and just all the pressure that a guy that big, like a 300-pounder like Dana Stubblefield, when he gets in this position, he gets up on top of you and then just drives down, then all that pressure goes to your legs. You see that on that one, he fell right on that knee that I think he hurt earlier.
Wade Wilson gets ready. 17-0 49ers. A new quarterback for the Cowboys, the veteran Wade Wilson. Troy Aikman headed for the locker room.
It was that left knee. He got it hurt earlier, and then I think it hurt again when Dana Stubblefield sacked him.
3rd and 13. Wilson gets it to Emmitt Smith. He will not get a first down. Tim McDonald again makes the stop.
It was the first play. Remember early in the game when Marquez Pope was a corner and he came in and he blitzed from the outside and he hits Troy Aikman? I think this is the first time he hit it. You see when the left knee went down right there. That was the first injury. And then right here when Dana Stubblefield sacks him, watch the knee right there. That was the one that got him out of the game.
John Jett. The punt to John Taylor. Deep for the 49ers. Jett hangs the good one to Taylor at the 12. That's as far as John Taylor will get, to about the 17. Billy Davis. 49-yard punt by Jett. The 49ers take over. 17-0. They lead the Cowboys in the first quarter.
It's brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered.
First and 10, 49ers at their own 18. Gerbach back to throw. Incomplete. A misread by somebody. Misconnection by somebody.
Well, I think Elvis Gerbach is going to think today that he's either going to have a guy open and he's going to throw it to him or he's going to throw it away. Because he remembers that pass last week where he was trying to go to Brent Jones. He couldn't get it. Then he tried to throw the ball away, and instead he threw an interception to Tim McKyer, who ran it 94 yards. He said that was just a bad throw. He was trying to throw it away. If you're going to try and throw it away, you have to throw it away well.
That one he did. Pump fake. Caught by Popson again. One of the two tight ends. 49ers using that formation a lot where they use two tight ends.
Boy, that's way too much time. I mean, he did a pump to the middle, a pump to the outside, and then a pump to the middle again. Now watch the protection here. Kirk Strafford blocking on Charles Haley, and he has help from Oates on the inside, and that's allowed Gerbach a two-pumper. And when you get a two-pumper, then that's good pass protection and poor pass rush.
3rd and short, 3 wide receivers. Derek Lavelle gets the San Francisco first down. Stopped by Scott Case, but they'll move the sticks. 4:40 left to play in the first quarter, 17-0.
You remember on Jerry Rice's touchdown pass, Deion Sanders wasn't on Rice, but he's been on Jerry Rice every play since.
I think that's wise, don't you?
Well, the first thing, see, and the 49ers are going to move Rice around, too, and put him in motion. I mean, they can't let him do it all the time.
This time he's not on Rice.
He's not on him here.
Derek LaVille gets the carry. Robert Jones made the stop.
See, now Deion Sanders is even going into the huddle. Usually when he just plays a right side or one guy, he doesn't even go into the huddle. But I think what the Cowboys are trying to do is mix it up a little. Sometimes he's playing right and left. Like now he's playing right side. See?
Right.
He's just lining up there. Whoever comes out here, he'll line up on. Jerry Rice happens to come to his side.
He's just taking the wide side of the field. 2nd and 6. In the direction of Brent Jones. Right now for a McDonald's game break, let's return to Hollywood. James Brown.
All right, Pat, an update on Minnesota, Arizona. Fuad Reves from 43 yards out, and it is right down the pike. Vikings take a 3-0 lead, under 2 to play in the first. Back to Pat and John.
Back at Texas Stadium at 17-0. The 49ers lead the Cowboys. 3:36 left in the first quarter. Emmett Smith looking on, as is Michael Irvin.
Michael Irvin's up there. He wants to see this Jerry Rice and Deion Sanders matchup.
Gerbach has to take a timeout and strolls to the sideline.
Of course, Michael Irvin is going for a record himself today. Consecutive 100-yard games. Said, it's going to be a big thing to him to break that record, and also to have Jerry Rice here watching him break that record. We talked about Deion Sanders. There's been 12 defensive plays. He's lined up on Jerry Rice at 10 of those plays. And of course, one of them was a big one. One of those two that he didn't line up on Jerry Rice, Jerry Rice was in a slot, and they scored a touchdown on
from 81 yards away.
Jerry Rice, I think there's a lot of great competitors here. If you look at what we have here in this game, we have teams that have won the last 3 Super Bowls. Of course, the Cowboys won 2 in a row. And then the 49ers won last year. Deion Sanders was with the 49ers last year. That guy there, Steve Young, was the MVP in the National Football League last year. And right here on this field today, they're not all playing. Troy Aikman's in the locker room. We have some of the greatest players that ever played this game.
3rd and 6, Haley jumped. That won't be enough for a first down. Gerbach went with the long count. Bob McElwee is the referee.
Neutral zone infraction, number 94 defense. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
There's President Bush.
A spectator.
Yeah, he has to be a Cowboy fan, huh? Here's one thing you like about President Bush. Always has that milk in his right hand, always ready to go. But he has to be in shock over this. I mean, he comes in.
I would think so, too.
Who would have thought? 17-0, he says.
It's milk in a beer glass. There's a message. 3rd and 1. That's Derek LaVille. Adam Walker, who started at fullback, has a broken thumb, so the 49ers don't want to take too many chances with him handling the ball.
You talk about a guy who has stick-to-itiveness, no. He's starting this game at fullback, like you say, with a broken thumb and a cast on that thumb. Now, he's been cut by the 49ers 9 times and signed 10 times.
Re-signed 10 times.
That is stick-to-itiveness.
Yeah. I think some luck involved, too.
Well, I mean, he's always one of those guys that's always on the fence through the bubble, I guess.
Good on special teams. Here's Rice. Out of bounds, deep in Cowboy territory at their 30. Larry Brown was the nearest pursuer, but Jerry went out of bounds at the 30.
And again, they're getting Jerry Rice on a linebacker. That time it was Robert Jones. You watch here, pretty good time. Just give him enough time just to get it off. And if you're going to get it off, then get it off to Jerry Rice. You see, they got him away by getting him in motion. Now right there, the closest guy is going to be Robert Jones, the middle linebacker. He gets by him, and then Elvis Gerbach hits him.
Jerry Rice has 2 catches for 101 yards and the 81-yard touchdown. That's to about the 26.
They should have had a pass on that play, Pat. The Cowboy defense wasn't ready to play. Their secondary was running back and forth, and this is one of the things I think you get in this matchup defense that they're not used to, is you get confusion. And in that time, they had 4 guys who were running around not knowing where they were going.
That's the kind of balance you'd like to have. 7 rushes, 8 passes, or vice versa. Somewhere in that area.
That's the 49
goes Haley again. And flags fall.
Charles Haley trying to get a jump.
False start, number 76, offense. 5 yards.
This is not against Haley, however.
No, that's Kurt Strafford, the left tackle. You see, he moves. You see him move right there. Once they get set, they can't move. Charles Haley's smart enough to know that if he moves, he's going to make sure that official sees it, because he'll jump and say, he brought me off.
2nd and 11. 3 wide receivers. J.J. Stokes. The handoff is to Lavelle. Rice was matched up on Sanders, or vice versa.
Yeah, if you look at Jerry Rice, and one of the things that he's always been better than anyone is this rack yardage, run after the catch. Look at that. He has 101 yards so far, and of course 91 of those are after the catch. And I don't think there's ever been anyone better at doing that.
They split Derek Lavelle. Rice out of the slot this time. At the 2. A fumble. And the scramble. They're saying he was down.
Jerry Rice is saying he was down. The official points that he was down. Well, I'll tell you, it all starts with pass protection, though, Pat. They're giving Elvis Gerbach way too much time. This is the zone defense. Rice working there against the zone. The first guy there is Brock Marion to make the tackle. Now, they said that he didn't fumble until he was down.
And that's a good call. He was down by contact. 1st and goal at the 2 for San Francisco. They lead 17-0 already.
Rice's big plays have been when Deion Sanders isn't coming.
Lavelle, close, but not in.
And now Steve Young is talking into the headset of Elvis Gerbach. Of course, this is the 4th game that they've done it, so they have it down pretty well now. I think he's waiting for a play here. He's telling him he has 1 yard.
And let the quarter run out, and they'll go to the other end.
Yeah, they can go and talk about it and talk whether they should run a quarterback sneak or not.
Well, don't forget that Elvis Gerbach's got a bad ankle. He hurt last week against Carolina, so maybe not a quarterback sneak. Maybe Lavelle again. We'll be back. Future hold.
It's just the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
It seems like we played a whole game here.
San Francisco.
I couldn't believe it. Is that just the first quarter?
Well, they struck so quickly. 2nd and goal at the 1. They're about to strike again.
The other thing that's impressive is the offensive line of the 49ers have done a good job of giving Elvis Gerbach a lot of time. Not just a little time, they've given him a lot of time.
I think that's the key so far. That's Lavelle. No signal yet, except from Elvis Gerbach, who's signaling touchdown.
Yeah,
Red Jones says it's about 6 inches.
This is a problem when you lose a William Floyd, not only the runner, but the lead blocker. They don't have a fullback on this team anymore, so you don't have that lead blocking fullback. And what they try and do is they try and put Ted Pops in there in the backfield, and you really don't have, he's not a threat to carry the ball, and he's not really, used to blocking from that position.
And you saw that effort, which was not successful. 3 wide receivers this time. Hand off to Derek Lavelle. Now they're signaling touchdown, and yes, it is. The 49ers 23-0 over the Cowboys.
And the 49ers have them on the run now.
On the ropes. And then run.
Yeah, they got the 3 wide and they had people running all over the place, and they didn't get set on defense. That's 2 times on this drive that the Cowboy defense wasn't set.
Wilkins for the extra point to make it, or to attempt to make it 24-0. And does. Just signed this week. 49ers 24, Dallas nothing.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Budweiser, proud sponsor of football wherever it's played. This Bud's for you.
I was talking about the Cowboy defense. Look, they got guys here, they got guys running in, and they never did get set. I mean, you see guys coming in, guys going out, guys on the 49er side, offside, and they really don't get up there and get set before the 49ers got that touchdown, and that's 2 times they got caught in that on that drive.
And so Wilkins kicks off again, 24-0, good kick. Kevin Williams going to bring it out of the end zone. Something happened. Williams almost did. Out to the 42. Stopped by Dodge right now for a quick report. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Well, Pat, we're still waiting on a definitive word from the Cowboys, but got to pick up Troy Aikman in the locker room where he had his shoulder pads off. He had just his pants on, and he also he took off his shoes. No definitive word, as I said, but it may not. It's looking like that he may not come back. Back to you.
All right, Pam, thank you. We'll try to find out as much as we can about Troy Aikman's condition. Wade Wilson, the quarterback. Wade Wilson, in the meantime, will carry the Cowboy responsibility along with Emmitt Smith. Emmitt gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a couple of yards. Ted Popson, problem with his shoulder pad.
Yeah, Pat, we were talking about how this game, the first quarter of this game, looked so much like last year's NFC Championship game. Remember that? The Cowboys had like 3 turnovers, and off those 3 turnovers, the 49ers got 21 points. Same thing today. They had 2 turnovers. Off those 2 turnovers, the 49ers got 17 points. The first quarter of this game is a heck of a lot like that first quarter of the championship game.
2nd and 9. Wilson gets it to Darryl Johnston. Short pickup, maybe 5. Stopped by Tim McDonald. The word we've just gotten about Troy Aikman is he will not be back. He will not return. It's Wade Wilson's job to get done if he can. Aikman has a bruise on his left knee where the hamstring attaches. That's the information that we have.
Again, I think it was that first hit by Marquez Pope that got it started. Then Dana Stubblefield sacked and broke it up.
Wilson tried to throw. Batted down. The Cowboys will have to punt again.
We look at it again. This is the first one. Here's Marquez Pope coming off that corner. Watch him hit Troy Aikman right there. See the left knee? Goes down. It looked like it buckled even before it hit. Here's the second one. Dana Stubblefield gets the sack. Now again, as it goes down, watch his left knee right there. I think those were the 2. The first one, I think, got him started because he was limping after that first one.
Well, they had him looking at it on the sideline.
And they had his pants down and working on his brace, and he was pointing to where it was hurt at that time.
John Jett to John Taylor. Signals fair catch into the end zone. The 49ers will start from the 20. Now Chad Hennings. It's like Chad saying he's stable. We welcome the Blockbuster video blimp and its crew to today's telecast. Piloting the Blockbuster blimp is Terry Dillard from Lake Monroe, Florida. Got a pretty good view today. 4 wide receivers this time on 1st and 10 for San Francisco at their own 20. Taylor in motion. Gerbach. Like he's trying to set up a screen. Finally threw it to Derek Lavelle. Right now for a McDonald's game break, James Brown in Hollywood.
All right, Pat, show you what's happening between Minnesota and Arizona. Warren Moon on target to a wide open Jake Reed. That in the second quarter, and it's 10-0 Minnesota over the Cardinals. Back to Irving, Pat Summerall, and John Madden.
And a shocking score here, 24-0 San Francisco over Dallas. And we've just begun the second quarter. 2nd and 10. Gets the carry. Gets about 2.
The 49ers have Chris Dahlman in there. Number 67 is the right guard. And you can see what they're going to do is they're taking Milstead and Dahlman, and they're just rotating them in there, working against these Cowboy defensive tackles. That's Dahlman there working against Russell Maryland, who was on a stunt. You see the guy? If you start to run, they're going to get that safety up there, and that's what the Cowboys did with Darren Woodson.
3rd and 8. Gerback back to throw. Flag on the play. Cowboys had a blitz going. Bates was coming up the middle. Brent Jones, the intended receiver, but a penalty marker down.
Elvis Gerback is up there with the officials saying it's holding on defense. He's trying to get one here because defensive.
Number 21 defense lined up in the neutral zone.
Deion Sanders.
Penalty, 3rd down.
You know, that won't be the first down. He was trying to get holding. He knew Deion did something wrong. But Deion gets up there in that man-to-man tight coverage, and sometimes he gets up so tight that he lines up in the neutral zone. The neutral zone, of course, being the length of the ball. But he likes to get right up on that receiver.
That's tight.
But, you know, sometimes, you know, the way to draw those guys offside is if you're on the line of scrimmage as a split end, he can get on you tight. If you're the flanker and you're a little off, you can make him line up in the neutral zone.
3rd down, San Francisco. Gerback back to throw it. Gets it outside to Derek Lavelle, and he'll get a 49er first down. Good throw by Elvis Gerback. Larry Brown knocked him out of bounds.
This Cowboy defense has self-destructed a couple times on 3rd down penalties. There was one earlier where Charles Haley jumped off sides and gave him a 3rd and short. That one, Deion Sanders lined up off sides and then gave him an easier position to get a first down from. And again, when you have a young quarterback like Elvis Gerback, a 3rd-year guy, the more things you give him, the more confidence you're giving him. And the Cowboy defense has given Elvis Gerback a lot of confidence.
The more confidence he gets, the more trouble he's going to give you. Gerback from behind. Charles Haley with an overhand left to Jesse Zapolo.
Charles was playing the whistle. Jesse Zapolo thought that he didn't have to throw him down that hard, but that's the official's fault. That's the official's fault. He should have blown the whistle. Here's Charles Haley here. Again, this is good coverage. See, Elvis Gerback look to the right, look to the middle, look to the left, start to run. Charles Haley gets him here. Now the whistle should blow. You ought to blow the whistle now. If you don't blow the whistle, Charles Haley has to do what he did. I'll tell you, there's some intensity in this thing. Look at Jesse Sapolo's eyes. These guys aren't messing around here today. They aren't coming out here to eat cupcakes.
He's not saying it's nice to see you. Gerback for Rice, incomplete. Well covered. Deion Sanders right with him.
That's the one everyone was looking for. This is what you want to see. This is just man-to-man. There's no double coverage. There's no zone. There's no safety in the middle to help you. Jerry Rice gets a step on him, raises his hand, but there's no one with better catch-up speed in all of football than number 21. And he did that. I mean, Jerry Rice, when he raised the hand, he did have a step or two.
He was open then.
I know, but Deion Sanders made up that step or two, plus another step on that thing.
I wonder what kind of shape in compare. I know Jerry Rice is in great shape. Pass is complete. That won't be enough for a first down. Chris Thomas made the reception.
And Deion Sanders can't be in great shape. I mean, he had ankle surgery. Yeah. He had a hamstring pull. But I'll tell you, when he went to the shelf to get all the parts, he got all the good parts.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, he the shelf that said speed, quickness, ability, agility, jump for the ball, all those things. He took that all off the shelf.
Kevin Williams back deep. Tommy Thompson to punt the first time today for the 49ers. We still have 10 minutes left to play in the first half.
And look at that score. Who would have thought that?
24-0. Thompson's kick is a rocket. Kevin Williams still on his feet. Out to the 30. Flag on the play.
I was going to say, with that much action and that many angles and this much intensity of this game, there has to be a flag on that kind of return. See Joe Avizano, the special teams coach of the Cowboys, arguing there. You know it's going to be against the Cowboys.
There's Joe.
Oh, now he's clapping.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
He started to argue, then he started to clap. So what? Maybe he talked him out of something.
Tripping, number 86 on the defense. That's a 10-yard penalty from the end of the play. First down.
Oh, Brett Carolyn.
Brett Carolyn right there, number 86. Watch him. He misses a play and he leg whips. And they ought to catch that. When you get leg whipped like that, you ought to get penalized.
That could be dangerous. Is dangerous. Michael Irvin shooting today for the most consecutive games with 100 yards receiving. Record he now shares with Hennigan and Groman. Who's the Houston quarterback? Undercover. Thursday at 9, 8 Central on Fox. Wade Wilson back to throw. To Novacek. Plummer made the stop on Jay.
Yeah, one thing the 49ers are going to do is check what kind of condition that Deion Sanders is in, because they think that he's not in great shape to play football, so they're just going to run him deep all day.
And you know this guy is in better shape than anybody, Jerry Rice.
Yeah, but on the one play that Deion had to check his shape when they threw that post to Jerry Rice, Deion made up steps on him.
He closed in a hurry. This is Emmett Smith. That'll be enough for a Cowboy first down. The first time they've been in San Francisco territory. Tim McDonald came up to make the stop.
Yeah, I think that Michael Irvin's starting to get a little frustrated here, because eventually they're going to have to get the ball to him. He's only caught one pass. You see him here, Marquez Pope, again getting physical with him.
Yeah.
I mean, he threw that right on him, and then he backed into him, and that turned out to, I mean, that's just a fist fight. A fight broke out. But Michael Irvin has only caught one pass, and that one pass he caught, he fumbled.
And the 49ers score. Wilson. To Emmett Smith. To the 35. Again, that Aflac trivia. Our question is, who is the Houston quarterback? George Blanda. And those two Houston receivers set that record in 1961. Michael Irvin has tied it this year, and he's trying to break it.
Yeah, that's amazing that the guy was set by the same guys on the same team.
Yeah.
And, of course, it's not amazing that George Blanda threw him. Now, George Blanda played for me for years, and there's nothing that George Blanda wasn't capable of.
Talk about your amazing athletes. Here's Emmett Smith. To about the 41. That'll bring up third and about 4.
You know, one thing I always talk about this Cowboy offense is, you know, the triplets. That, Troy Aikman, of course, Troy Aikman is out of the game now. Michael Irvin, he's only caught one pass, and then Emmett Smith. And none of them have gotten started yet. I mean, Troy's not going to get started. And as we said, Michael Irvin has only caught one pass, and then Emmett Smith has rushed 6 times for 18 yards. So the triplets have been kind of quiet today. It's not been their day.
The triplets are twins. Here's Wade Wilson back to throw. Throwing deep. And a flag on the play intended for Kevin Williams. Marquez Pope on the coverage. He's upset.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Marquez Pope just took an angle and he cut Kevin Williams off. That didn't look like pass interference from him.
I don't think that was catchable. trouble to you.
No, man.
Pass interference, number 23 defense. Automatic first down.
Well, what we think doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't make any difference, but I thought Marquez Pope was playing very well today, and I thought he played this one well. Here they are down here, and you're going to see Marquez Pope is going to bump Williams, and then Kevin Williams is going to get beyond him, and then he just takes a position there. That is not pass interference.
Oh, I don't think so.
No, that is wrong. I mean, he has as much right to that position as a receiver does.
It's a Cowboy first down. Wilson to throw, swings it out to Emmett Smith. Emmett misses one man, makes another miss. Emmett Smith out of bounds at about the 1. That's vintage number 22.
Yeah, you get a break. The Cowboys got a break on that interference. Then after you get a break, then you have to get the ball. You have to get the ball to Emmett Smith. You have to get it to Michael Irvin. Here, Wade Wilson just throws it out to Emmett. And Emmett Smith is the toughest guy to tackle in this league. And when he gets that thing going, he's going right for the end zone. He didn't get it in, but I'll guarantee you he's going to get it in on this next play. Or at least he's going to get it this next play.
First and goal at the 1. Lee Woodall was the first 49er to face him. And Emmett really juked him.
He made him just come up with air.
Yeah. Emmett Smith, touchdown. Here's the touchdown.
Look at these eyes, Pat. You know when he didn't make it to play before that he was going to get it on this play, and I didn't have any doubt before they even ran the play that he was going to get it. Now that is good blocking. There's no one. Ken Norton was the closest guy to have a chance at him, but he didn't even have a chance. That was all blocking.
Bonio for the extra point. Novacek is the holder. 24-7. The 49ers lead is cut. 6.5 minutes left to play in the first half. It's 24-7 49ers. Back at Texas Stadium, a shocking score to a lot of people. The 49ers 24, Dallas 7. 6.5 minutes left to play in the first half. Cowboys just scored. Emmett Smith did. And Bonio the kickoff. Dexter Carter. Hit and knocked backwards and a flag on the play. Bjornsson down to make the hit. The backup tight end.
Who would have thought that he was a quarterback? He was a high school quarterback and a college quarterback.
Flags against San Francisco.
Now the momentum is starting to turn.
Illegal block in the back, number 43, and illegal block in the back, number 55. Will decline the penalty on number 43, accept the penalty on number 55. Pass the distance, first down.
They back the 49ers up for that illegal block in the back, all the way to their 7, just outside the 7-yard line. Elvis Gerbach started and is still the 49er quarterback. Steve Young is dressed but on the sideline. Rice is the man in motion. Brent Jones made the catch at about the 10. The Cowboys are saying we got the ball.
We were talking about momentum changing here.
Yep.
You can feel the momentum changing, and the fans can feel it. They're getting into the game now. I think it all started with that pass interference of Marquez Pope.
Well, they thought for a moment that the Cowboys had recovered a fumble here by Brent Jones, but they didn't. It's still San Francisco ball.
Brent Jones did fumble the ball.
Yes, he did.
You see it come out. It's still loose down there. The 49ers come up with it right there at the end.
So it's second down. That's Derek Lavelle to about the 12. Stopped by Chad Hennings. Brent Jones.
Hey, you see the ball knocked out there. See, here comes Jesse Sapolo. And right there was Chris Gallman, number 67. I think Gallman ended up with it. That's what those linemen have to do. You have to block and then get out in front and then just hustle and just be in a position to help with no matter what happens. The 49ers are going to have a tough time hearing now.
3rd and 5. So as a result, they'll have a tough time changing plays. Here's Gerback back to throw. Comes out of the pocket. Elvis Gerback gets the first down. Bad ankle and all.
He got the ankle last week. In fact, they didn't know if he'd be able to play this week. But he took off on this one. Again, the Cowboys don't think that he can run, so Tony Tolbert takes an angle where Elvis Gerbach is going to be, then he gets caught inside. Gerbach sees it, and he's able to outrun the whole side. See, that's what happens when your defensive ends knows that the quarterback can't run, then you just start rushing for a point. You don't worry about the guy running outside you. And when you do, you can usually end up with big plays.
But he can run. And he did get the first down.
You know, and when we talked to him yesterday and to George Seaver, both of them said that he couldn't run. I mean, he can't run when he can run, Elvis Gerbach.
Right.
But then with the bad ankle, he said, you know, he'll be able to drop back, but he won't be able to run. But lo and behold, you know, that's what adrenaline does. Adrenaline is an amazing thing.
It makes you heal and do things you wouldn't normally be able to do. Derek Lavelle gets the carry. Gets a couple. Tony Tolbert made the stop.
Yeah, this is a good drive here for the 49ers. That was a big play there just to get a little momentum back because they had the penalty, and then Emmitt Smith makes a couple plays, and then they have the kickoff, and they have another penalty on that play, and they had to get something good to balance out those bad things that were happening to them.
2nd and 7. Dexter Carter split wide left. Brent Jones, and that's another first down. Scott Case made the stop.
You know, when we started this game back, you were talking about kind of a makeshift offensive line, but these guys have done a heck of a job in pass protecting today. I mean, they've given, in this first half, they've given Elvis Gerbach enough time to look a couple places to find his receivers. And I think they've done that the whole first half.
Rice comes wide right. Sanders with him. The pass comes again to Brent Jones, who stayed on his feet and spun for a couple more to about the 38.
How about Brent Jones? Remember 2 weeks ago he was injured, and the first report was he injured his knee and ankle and would be out for the season. And the next report was, well, it wasn't as bad as we thought. He'll be out 6 to 8 weeks. And then he was out none weeks. He started
last week.
And he said he wore the brace. He's going to have to wear a knee brace the whole year. But he said on one pass he caught and he took off up the sideline. He was surprised how fast he could run with that knee brace.
He's got 3 catches. Here's Lavelle. Stopped by Dixon Edwards this time. Michael Irvin.
I think Michael Irvin's starting to get frustrated.
Yeah.
Part of it, he's only caught 1 pass. He's going for a record. The other part is they're down 24-7. And maybe the biggest thing is his quarterback, Troy Aikman, is in the house.
That plus they can't get the ball. Emmitt Smith has the only touchdown for the Cowboys. Jerry Rice has 1. Merton Hanks has 1. Derek Lavelle has 1 for San Francisco, plus a field goal by Wilkins.
And number 80 right here, Jerry Rice, could be another part of Michael Irvin's frustration.
Gerbach, did he call the timeout in time? Flags on the play.
Timeout, San Francisco.
Yeah, he got it called in time. They only have 1 left, 1 timeout left. We have 2:26 left in the first half. 49ers on top.
Snaps the ball. Gerbach takes his hands out to call timeout, and Bart Oates just snaps the ball.
And brought it back.
Yeah, I know. He got that ball up there. Everyone moves. The backs are moving. Everyone's moving. Jerry Rice is coming in.
Looks like Radio City.
But if he takes it up, Bart Oates just held on to that ball. False snap. Remember the old deal? You used to be able to do that. You'd put it up and the guy touch it, and then the center could run.
Don't forget, coming up, the Dockers halftime. JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy. Scores and highlights. A shocking score to most, I'm sure, at Texas Stadium. 24-7, San Francisco leading Dallas. Elvis Gerbach to throw it. Intended for J.J. Stokes, or in that direction. No chance. He was well covered.
Yeah, the one thing, see, now here's Charles Haley over on the other side. He's going against Harris Barton. And one thing the 49ers know, any place that Charles Haley goes, you have to get help. Now, he starts out, and he comes on a stunt, and the guard is there to pick him up, and the center, Bart Oates, is just waiting for him to come on those inside pass rushes.
2nd and 10.
In fact, I think all 5 of those offensive linemen, the 49ers, are looking for 94.
They've done a good job. 2 tight ends. Gerbach back to throw it. Pass is caught by Stokes. And he's going to have a 49er first down. Brock Marion.
And the other
Larry
thing,
Brown.
the other thing they do, Pat, with Charles Haley is watch here how Brent Jones is just going to chop him. You see, they have 2 tight ends on him, and they just kind of chop him and they're going to do every different kind of block to him that you can do.
2 minutes remaining in the first half, and the 49ers ahead 24-7. They struck early.
Brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor orders. By the newly restyled Toyota Corolla, we're looking forward to tomorrow. And by Docker's Flat Front Khakis, proud makers of nice pants.
Texas Stadium, the home of the Cowboys. And it's not a very happy home right now as the 49ers lead it 24-7, and this is a good-looking drive. Gerbach again calls timeout.
You can't do it.
Can't do it.
No.
After the 2-minute warning, again he called a timeout.
And then they said that he couldn't do it, and then they said that he could do it.
Why can't he do it?
Well, the rule that you have to say is that defensive thing. You can't take 2 timeouts for the kicker.
San Francisco, that is their last charge timeout.
Well,
you know that deal where you go to stop to make the kicker nervous, you take
Make
a
him think about
timeout,
it.
a defensive timeout, and then you take another one. You can't do back-to-back timeouts. So I think that's what the official was thinking of when he said he couldn't do it.
well, it was a 2-minute warning followed by a timeout. So that's a different category.
So then it's not back-up timeouts.
Steve Young talking with Elvis Gerbach. Steve was he was saying if it was an ankle or a knee, I could put something on it, tape it up, and I think I could play. But it's a shoulder. It's what I throw the ball with.
Well, he's just so frustrated that, there's just not getting any better. Look at this time of possession here. The 49ers have had it for over 16 minutes. The Cowboys only 11. Of course, that and the score being 24-7, I think, is causing these looks on that Cowboy sideline. And it's one of frustration. I mean, frustration of losing, and then the frustration of the 49ers playing keep away against you. And I think that's what the feeling is right now, plus the frustration of your quarterback being in the clubhouse.
Gerbach to Rice. Out of bounds at about the 20. Again, he wasn't covered by Sanders, and he was coming out of the slot, crossing 26-yard pickup.
This is the thing that the 49ers wanted to do. They wanted to move Jerry Rice, move him in motion, move him across there, and that's what he does. They get him on those crossing patterns, and unless you're playing man-to-man, you have to pass him around and through zones, and that time he went right by Bill Bates.
Bates slipped as he was going by. Here's Gerbach. To Lavelle, touchdown. Derek Lavelle from Gerbach.
Oh, they ought to be caught in one of those zone blitzes, Pat. The closest guy was Tony Tolbert, the defensive end. 19-yard touchdown pass from Elvis
Gerbach to Derek Lavelle.
They've been hearing so much about they don't have a running game. They miss Ricky Waters. They have this. I'll tell you, this is one happy guy here, Derek Lavelle. But the closest guy to him was the defensive end, Tony Tolbert. That's mixing your coverages up way too much.
Jeff Wilkins' extra point was good.
Lavelle just runs that pattern out of the backfield. And the reason you say, well, where is the closest guy to him? Well, the closest guy to him was down in a three-point stance.
31-7. The score in the championship game when San Francisco beat Dallas last year was 31-14 at the half. If you're thinking back, it's 31-7 here.
And I tell you, that was a heck of a drive. But you're going to see Tony Tolbert here. Here's Derek Lavelle here. Now watch how they're going to try and cover this. Tolbert starts up. He tries to bump Lavelle there. He misses him. Now once he misses him, he can't catch him.
And you can't cover it like that.
No, I mean you try and blitz and you take some chances, but they hit him right where they were. Now here's Tolbert here. He's going to come. Here's Lavelle here. Once Lavelle gets by here, he goes right up the middle. And you see, you take some chances because you're blitzing. You blitz all your linebackers, so therefore one of your defensive linemen in this scheme has to become a linebacker, and that was Tony Tolbert. Now, look at the play before this, Pat. There's Bill Bates. He's trying to redirect Jerry Rice, and you see that. He fell down, and Jerry gave him a little move. Bill Bates went down, and Jerry Rice got right by him. That was a heck of a drive by the 49ers.
Remember, they got penalized on the kickoff back inside the 10, and they took it all the way for the score. Kevin Williams will return the kick. Kevin Williams take it down at about the 36, almost broke it. Drakeford made the stop. Next week, it's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader beginning with a crucial NFC West matchup as the Rams take on the Falcons and the Cowboys battle the Raiders in a possible Super Bowl preview. 49ers might have something to say about that. It all begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Might be just recovering from this one, this first half particularly. 31-7.
31-7. There's no, that's one great thing about football is you don't know what's going to happen. You have to play the game. There is one happy guy because he's been living with that thing about Ricky Waters isn't there. The 49ers don't have a running game. They need this. They need that. I tell you, when you start getting some touchdowns and you're ahead 31-7, you can shut a lot of them up.
Wade Wilson going deep for Kevin Williams, incomplete. Wilson the quarterback because Aikman left with a bruised left knee.
And this is a tough job for Wade Wilson because one thing with the Cowboys and Ernie Zampese's philosophy has always been that the starting quarterback gets all the plays in practice. So therefore that's good for the starting quarterback like Troy Aikman, but it also means that you really need an experienced backup because he doesn't get any of the offensive reps in practice during the week.
Ernie Zampese. Wade Wilson, though a veteran, if anyone can handle it, he should be able to. He has time. Gets it to Darryl Johnson to the 48. Wilson is 6 out of 8 since he replaced Aikman.
And if you're going to do that, that's why you like that veteran like Wade Wilson, an 11-year veteran.
Left to play in the first half. San Francisco 31, Dallas 7. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, the Dockers halftime with J.B. Terry, Howie, and Jimmy scores and highlights. Some very interesting highlights from around the league and a very interesting contest right here with the 49ers leading 31-7. Wade Wilson, the quarterback. For Kevin Williams. Incomplete.
Marquez Pope is telling that official on that sideline, that's the same thing I did before. How come you called it before and put the ball down there and led to a touchdown for him?
This is more nearly interference than the other one.
Yeah, but he's just going for position there. Again, he's trying to cut Kevin Williams off, and that's what he did that time, and that's what he did the time before.
Deion Sanders joins the offensive group now and goes wide right.
Well, Deion Sanders, I heard him ask Ernie Zampese yesterday. He said his daughter wanted him to run a deep one.
Wade Wilson dumps it out to Emmitt Smith. Emmitt ducks under for close to first down yardage under Tim McDonald.
Gary Plummer was saying yesterday that when the Cowboys put Deion in on offense, that the 49ers ought to put Jerry Rice in on defense and let him cover him.
Wilson takes a timeout, the Cowboys timeout. They have 2 left. Well, 1 left, according to this.
I think what they'd like to do, obviously, is just get in position to get anything here, even if it's a field goal before the halftime, and then regroup and get a second-half game plan for Wade Wilson that, to me, has to include the 2 stars. I mean, you have to get Michael Irvin involved in this game, and you have to get Emmitt Smith more involved. I mean, those 2 guys have to make the comeback for you.
Again, Michael Irvin has caught only 1 pass. That one, after the reception, he fumbled. Merton Hanks picked it up and ran in for a 49er touchdown.
There's Bill Bates. They're talking about, you know, that nickel play when Bill Bates was in there. In fact, he's saying right there, I should have given him a shot. You see that? He pulled his forearm. I should have given him a shot. He was coming across. The guy he said he should have given a shot was Jerry Rice running that crossing pattern.
You got to get close to him to give him a shot.
I think he made Bates slip.
Here's Wilson, sacked around the corner. Ricky Jackson.
Yeah, there's a guy who's really come to life the last month of the season. He's already had an interception in this game, and you're going to see him from up here on top. Now he's going against Eric Williams. Now watch him. He just stops. He just runs right around Eric Williams and gets a sack.
2nd and 15. The Cowboys go in a hurry. Wilson. Novacek. Complete. Picked up 10. Tim McDonald again made the stop. Clock running. 3rd and 5. They need a first. And then a timeout. Whistles all over the field. And markers all over the field. It's been a quiet first half for Michael Irvin.
Yeah, and
Prior to the snap, number 84, offense.
And what happens when you have a guy like Michael Irvin and you don't get him involved in the game early, sometimes they don't get involved in the game at all. I mean, I've seen that happen to a lot of great ones. I've seen it happen to Jerry Rice. And I can see it happening here to Michael Irvin, that you go through, you come out, you're all fired up, you want to break a record, you're going to beat a team, and then you're down 31-7. You've only caught 1 pass, you fumble that, your quarterback's not there. Jerry Rice on the other side is having a big game, and you're going, you know, but hey, but I thought this was my house, you know, type of thing. Where'd my house go?
Going to run 10 seconds off the clock, and then there is a penalty for a false start, I believe, to follow that. Bob McElwee.
Yeah, the false start was on Jay Novacek.
Yep. That was the original call. Well, one of the things, if you're San Francisco, that you want to do defensively is take that big gun out of the game. You want to take Michael Irvin out of the game.
And they've done a great job of doing
that.
They've done it with different coverages, you know, part nickel, part
Here's Wilson.
rush.
Incomplete. Intended for Novacek. It wouldn't have been enough for a first down if he had caught it. McDonald on the coverage. 11 seconds left, 4th down.
Because those 2 corners, you know, we see McDonald make that play, but Marquez Pope and Eric Davis on the other side have been playing excellent. I mean, they haven't let those wide receivers get open today.
11 seconds left to play in the first half. 4th and 11, Dallas. They drop a lineman out on defense. Wilson going deep. It's going to be a jump ball. comes up with it.
See that, Dick? Remember where he learned that? Watching Sesame Street with his daughter.
That's the end of the first half with the score. The San Francisco, well, here's the last play, the alley-oop play.
And I think there's still 1 second left.
Maybe.
Because there'll be an automatic time at change of possession, so the 49ers are going to get one play.
Merton Hanks with the second interception of the day. 1 second left.
These fans above that 1 second left are in shock. They don't know what to do. They know one thing don't do, don't go home.
Right.
Talk about a guy in shock. How about the Cowboy head coach right now? He's
Barry
saying,
Switzer. How about a guy running over with confidence at the moment, Elvis Gerbach, who's done one heck of a job. 31-7 San Francisco.
Time is brought to you by Dockers Khakis, proud makers of nice pants.
And welcome to Hollywood along with Jimmy, Howie, and Terry. I'm James Brown. Yes, indeed, a shocker in Irving, Texas. 31-7, San Francisco on top. A lot of joy before the game.
Bates talking to Dexter Carter, says, let's get ready to rumble. Elvis Gerbach, he looks over the middle. He finds Jerry Rice on an 81-yard TD reception. A shocker is already developed as the 49ers jump off to a 7-0 lead. Michael Irvin, quick slant, reception, fumble. Merton Hanks picks it up, goes all the way. Touchdown, 38 yards. 49ers up by 14. Funky chicken. Now, Troy Aikman has to leave the game. Dana Stubblefield sacks Troy. He bruises his left knee, leaves the game. Wade Wilson finishes at first half at quarterback. 49ers all over the Cowboys in a shocker, 31-7.
I don't know if Merton Hanks would call that the funky chicken, but
well, that's what I call it.
Funky score. All right. Chiefs 13-7 over the Chargers. That at the half. Minnesota leading Arizona 17-10. 2 touchdown passes by Warren Moon. Green Bay's Brett Favre, big game. 5 touchdown passes, a personal high, coming in with a injured ankle, plays in this game. Eric Kramer had another good game. 2 touchdown passes, both to Curtis Conway. This one a 46-yarder, but Favre back, looks down the side in the corner route. Robert Brooks makes the reception, 44 yards. Pack, a win they had to have to get back in the race. They're tied in with the lead. Packers 6-4, Bears 6-4. The final 35-28. Packers control the Central now. All right, Tampa Bay loses by 3 to Detroit 27-24. 4 turnovers key for Tampa Bay. Buffalo, welcome back Marv Levy.
Good to have you back. Jim Kelly says, Coach, good to have you on the sideline. Kelly, 30-yard TD reception to Bill Brooks. One of 2 touchdown passes on the day for Kelly, giving him 12 for the year. Here, Kelly finds Brooks in the corner. 15-yarder as Buffalo takes care of the visiting Atlanta Falcons as Elvis dances in the stands. 23-17.
5 sacks for Buffalo. Rams got back to their old ways, forcing turnovers.
That's exactly right, JB. They have not had many turnovers in the last 4 games, only 5. DeMarco Farr strips the ball from Kerry Collins. He kicks it around. Then Torin Dorn recovers, goes 22 yards as the Rams celebrate this victory. There's my man, Jackie Slater, 41-year-old offensive lineman. His 259th game to play in the NFL, an all-time record for offensive linemen.
He's just a baby at 41. Miami lost to New England today.
But Dan Marino broke Fran Tarkenton's all-time passing yardage record of 4,000 and 47,003 yards. That 9-yarder Irving Fryer did it. Dan on the day, 333 yards, but not enough because Drew Bledsoe, 2 touchdown passes. This one over the middle, deflected by Dave Mega into the hands of Ben Coates as the New England Patriots, 34-17. Are they back and on another roll, JB?
Rookie sensation Curtis Martin with 142 yards and 2 touches. Oakland, a successful return for Jeff Hostetler to the Meadowlands against his ex-mates. They win it by 4. Indianapolis loses to the Saints. Saints have now won 3 straight, 4-6. Will Tom Vincent keep Jim Mora?
I hope so. How about this game? Bengals, Oilers, Blake, back, Pickens down the left side, up. Good job of catching 13 touchdown 9 receptions on the day as Chris Chandler has to leave this game with a bruised right knee. Bengals 32, Oilers 25.
First Cincinnati win in Houston in 10 years. And boy, look at that, 77 points scored in that game. Seahawks win it 47-30. All right, let's talk about Dallas, San Francisco. Jimmy, I thought Dallas could overcome all kinds of distractions. What's going on?
Well, it's obvious that the San Francisco 49ers were thoroughly focused coming into this ball game. And I think one thing that's interesting about what they're doing defensively, defensive coordinator Pete Carroll is using a scheme that the 49ers used last year when they had Deion Sanders. They're taking Marquez Pope, single coverage on Kevin Williams on the backside, rolling the coverage to Michael Irvin. Now, that's one reason why Ernie Zampese tried to go deep on Kevin Williams 2 or 3 times. If they keep that same coverage, I doubt if Wade Wilson will want to go toward Michael Irvin because he'll be thrown into double coverage.
Dallas is flat out flat right now. Barry Switzer obviously did not prepare the team for this big game. They've pointed to this game all year. They've had to mix in blitzes, gotten burnt on it because of their lack of a pass rush. They've double-teamed Charles Haley, moved him around. He still hasn't had the ability to get there. I'll tell you what, Pete Carroll has done an outstanding job mixing the blitzes, brought safeties off both sides.
Howell, you're exactly right. Cowboys were not prepared to play this football game because you have a chance to put a team away like the 49ers who want to be beat, but they don't do it today, and hats off to the 49ers. Boy, they are ready to play.
Thus far, the 10th game jinx continues for the Cowboys. 9 consecutive seasons, they've lost the 10th game of the season. Happening right now in the first half. With more after this. And welcome back to Hollywood for the Doctor's Halftime. Along with Terry Bradshaw, I'm James Brown. Let's bring you up to date on scores and highlights from early games. Curtis Martin, the rookie sensation, led the Patriots to an upset of Miami.
Dan Marino, though, on this 9-yard pass completion to Irving Pryor, this breaks Fran Tarkenton's passing yardage record of 47,003 yards. Dan with 333 yards passing on the day, now with 47,299 yards. But that's not enough. As New England behind Drew Bledsoe's 2 TD passes, this one tipped by Megan into the hands of Coach. There it is, 34-17 Patriots over the Dolphins.
All right, strong winds welcoming Jeff Hostetler back in an Oakland uniform against his ex-mates, the Giants at the Meadowlands.
Well, the Hoss is back down the middle. Ishmael wide open. Great extension. Touchdown. 4 sacks on the day by the Raiders over the Giants. 17-13.
Now, what do you say? The Saints have now won 3 straight and improved to 4-6. Maybe Tom Benson will reconsider and not fire Jim Mora. Jeff Blake and Carl Pickens, an effective duo, as the Oilers fans are saying, don't give our team away.
Jeff Blake back looking fine. Pickens, there it is. Great catch into the end zone. Cincinnati 23-13. At this point, they go on 32-25 a final.
Jeff Blake, 17 games with a touchdown in a row. Wayne Fonts needs to make the playoffs to save his job.
Barry Sanders fakes the reverse. No support. 55-yard touchdown run by Sanders. 90 yards rushing on the day. Sanders, remember, just last week with 44 yards. Now Mitchell back. 36-yard pass. This set up a sneak by Mitchell as the Lions go on to take care of Tampa Bay 27-24.
And who would have thunk it? Seattle looking impressive.
Galloway takes a reverse. He cuts back across the grain. Weeds, dodges. There it is. Weeds. There's the dodge right there. I guess that's the dodge. 84 yards. Seahawks. Nice and easy into the end zone. 47-30.
I like that easy read. That's how impressive it was. And guess what? We're going to come back easy and continue at halftime after this.
We're back at Texas Stadium. The 49ers have kicked off to begin the second half. Pat Summerall with John Madden. Here's the kickoff. And Kevin Williams return out to about the 38-yard line. 1st and 10. Wade Wilson remains the Dallas quarterback. This is Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith to the 40. Dragged down inside the 49er 30 at the 38, 37. Tim McDonald finally got him down.
Here we're talking about things that they have to do. One thing they have to do is they have to get the ball to Emmitt Smith. That offensive line has to start to exert itself, and they have to change momentum. And this is the perfect way to start it. And they got a good kickoff return. Boom, just give it to Emmitt. Just let that offensive offensive line get into the game and get into their rhythm.
31 yards for Emmitt Smith. And again, the handoff to Smith. And again, he flashes into the secondary inside the 20, inside the 15, out of bounds. At about the 12 and a half. Eric Davis got him out of bounds.
And one thing the 49ers have to watch out that they didn't celebrate a win at halftime.
Yeah, that's the truth.
I've coached and had that happen before. You know, you always worry about that you go in at halftime with a big lead and they start celebrating because you got another half to play, and they can do the same thing in the second half that you did to them in the first half.
First down, Cowboys down at the 12-yard line. 2 runs by Emmitt Smith.
You know, the Cowboys only had 19 yards rushing in the first half.
He's more than triple that in 2 carries here in the second half. He can get another one. Down to about the 11. That's a couple. 31-7, San Francisco leading Dallas.
That's probably what they talked about at halftime, is that, you know, we're not playing ball control football. We're not playing cowboy football. We're not getting the ball to Emmitt Smith. We're not doing the tough things that we're capable of. We're not getting our offensive line in this game. And if we have the best offensive line in football, the best running back in football, we have to use them.
One of the best wide receivers in football. The only thing missing is our quarterback, Troy Aikman, who left after early in the first quarter, replaced by Wade Wilson. Wilson fakes. Fires Novacek. Out of bounds just inside the 9. Big third down coming up. Ken Norton took Novacek out of bounds.
And I think that other thing that you talk about is what they have to do is get the ball to Michael Irvin. I think they're trying here. Jay Novacek is a short guy. You can see the deep guy in behind him is Michael Irvin there. Yep. Now, there was good coverage on Michael Irvin, and Wade Wilson had to go to Jay Novacek.
Well, it's pretty obvious that the 49ers, part of the game plan coming in was to take Michael Irvin out of the offense, and they've done a good job. Caught 1 pass.
They've done that. The other thing is the Cowboys are only 1 out of 5 in these third down conversions.
3 wide receivers this time. Wilson to throw it. Handed Novacek, covered again by Norton, incomplete.
You know, again, I think that they had to be trying to get to Michael Irvin because he's the guy deep. Jay Novacek, even if he caught that ball, it wouldn't have been a first down. You see, Eric Davis is on Irvin here. Eric Davis is underneath him. If he throws that ball to Michael Irvin, Eric Davis is there to catch it.
That's good coverage. Boniol will try with Novacek holding a field goal from 27 yards out, 26 maybe. Boniol's kick is good from 26 yards officially, and it's 31-10. 12:07 left to play in the third quarter. The 49ers leading 31-10.
Brought to you by Cadillac and your Cadillac dealer, creating a higher standard. By Transamerica, the people in the pyramid are working for you. And by Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth.
Back inside Texas Stadium, Boniol to kick it off. 31-10 is the 49er lead. Dexter Carter deep at the 2. Carter take it down at about the 18, where the 49ers will get their first chance with the ball. Let's quickly send you down to Pam Oliver.
Well, Pat, I talked to Barry Switzer at halftime. He said he could not believe the way his ball club came out to start the first half. He said it was like deja vu all over again. But he implored his troops at halftime not to panic, just to play within themselves. We heard comments from Eric Williams like, "We have got to see what we're made of." Back to you.
All right, Pam, first down. 49ers at their own 19. Elvis Gerbach, the quarterback, fades the throw. Throws complete to Brent Jones.
You know, when you defend the 49er offense, and especially with Steve Young, you know, when he was in there and before that with Joe Montana, everyone felt, and the Cowboys felt too, that you have to defend that 10-yard box. You know, that most of the things in the passing game that happen are from the line of scrimmage 10 yards deep, but all the way across the field. And in the first half, that's really what they've been doing. And now starting this half, that's what they're doing.
And Jerry Rice turned an 8-yard pass into something big. This is Derek Lavelle.
first half. Yeah, here they completed 10 passes out of 13. And there, again, this is just a box of 10 yards. And you can see that the ones with the X's are the ones that were incomplete. But this is where all their passes were completed, where you see the football without the X's. And then, of course, the big one was Jerry Rice and his run after the catch.
That was over 70 yards. 8-yard pass, 81-yard touchdown. Gerbach to throw it again. The Cowboys blitz. Gerbach incomplete. Flag on the play from the sideline.
See, that's what they do is they throw in that 10-yard area and then they look for the rack. They look for the guy to catch that ball, catch it on the run, and keep going.
Holding called against Robert Jones. Automatic first down, as you heard. So they'll move the sticks. Let's see.
See, here you're going to see Robert Jones right there, again, trying to defend that 10-yard box we're talking about because he knows that's where they're trying to hit. Now, Brent Jones stopped, and then when he went to get beyond Robert Jones, Jones just grabbed him. Jones grabbed Jones, and they caught him.
Robert grabbed Brent. 1st and 10. Handoff is to Derek Lavelle. And a flag on the play.
Holding offensive right guard. Offensive right guard. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the first down.
Still first down.
Yeah, if you look at the 49er passing, and we know that they don't throw a lot to the outside. 1 out of 2 to the left, 3 out of 6. But the big part in that 10-yard box was in that middle. 10 out of 13 for 222 yards and 2 touchdowns. So maybe they start outside, but again, usually when they hit, they end up inside in that 10-yard box.
1st and 20. 2 tight ends for the 49ers. J.J. Stokes moves wide left. Rice is to the right, covered by Sanders. Lavelle makes the catch, knocked out of bounds by Dixon Edwards.
How would you like to be Kirk Strafford? You're out there blocking, and a guy throws a flag, and then he throws it right in your mouth.
Speaking of flags, there's another one on the last play.
I mean, they ought to have more respect for guys. Tag him, Steve Wallace.
What do you mean to do it?
You're starting for Wallace, and the guy throws his flag right in your mouth. Look at that thing. I mean, how'd you like to have that thing stuck in your mouth? I mean, where'd that thing come from?
I don't believe there's enough room.
Well, you got a face mask in there to help the stick, too. Yeah, and it wasn't a short throw either. Watch how long that thing came. I counted that like 5 or 6 yards, that throw.
In the meantime, there was another flag on the last play against Dallas. This is Chris Thomas with the reception, and he'll have another 49er first down. Scott Case finally knocked him out of bounds.
The other thing is about the 49ers is the minute that the Cowboys start coming back, the 49ers have their own momentum.
That's Harris Barden still down.
Yeah, that's the position that he ended up blocking in. He was blocking, and ended up right there after that completion to Chris Thomas. Chris Thomas out of Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo.
Let's see if we can figure out what happened to Harris.
Yeah, he's right here, number 79. First of all, he gets out, laid out of his stance, and you just see, he got caught from behind on the tackle coming from the other side, not the guy he was blocking.
Caught on his left knee. 31-10 49ers over Dallas. Back at Texas Stadium, Pat Summerall with John Madden. 31-10 49ers lead it. They have the ball at midfield. 3 wide receivers, 1st and 10. J.J. Stokes. Covered by Darren Woodson.
Yeah, this is the guy that the 49ers really have to get involved in their offense. Their number one draft choice, and when they moved up to get him, he was a guy that eventually will take John Taylor's place. But I think until he takes John Taylor's place, I think he has to take Ricky Waters' place. I think as William Floyd, he has to take some of William Floyd, and that's the way you do it. You just don't go out and get another fullback or another guy. You take the stuff you have and make them make up for it.
Those are big shoulders. Here's Gerback. Incomplete. Larry Brown had a shot at it. Thought he should have had an interception. Intended again for Stokes.
Now that's what happens when you're throwing to a rookie and a young quarterback. He looked all the way at him, and Larry Brown was looking, and he was watching him all the way, and he got a real good jump on that. You see what happens is Stokes just kind of sits there and waits for it. Larry Brown was looking all the way, and when Gerbach looked at him, and when Stokes didn't work back towards the ball, Brown almost had an interception.
3rd and 1, Lavelle. Haley dived, missed. Sanders over to stop him short of the first down.
The thing they always say about Deion Sanders is that he doesn't tackle, but that's a bunch of baloney. He doesn't miss tackles. I mean, he's not in on a lot of tackles because he covers man-to-man, but he is a physical player. Now watch him come up here right there and knock Derek Lavelle out of bounds before he can get a first down. I mean, that doesn't look like much, but instead of the 49ers keeping the ball, they now have to punt because of that play.
He doesn't have to tackle that often. 49ers will punt. Tommy Thompson back deep. Devin Williams back deep for Dallas. Very important drive coming up with him. They tried to block it. Thompson went down, but no flag. Fair catch by Williams at about the 17. Thompson tried to make as if he were run into. Deion Sanders heads over for a rest. And it remains 31-10 San Francisco. 1st and 10, Wade Wilson, number 11, remains the Dallas quarterback. Fires upfield, pass picked off, I believe, by McDonald. Nope.
Hey,
Wilson's hurt.
Yeah, because Eric Davis came on a cornerback blitz. It was the same thing that got Troy Aikman. Marquez Pope got him. Watch Eric Davis. He's going to come from the outside. Here he is, number 25, right there, coming from the corner. They don't see him. Wade Wilson doesn't see him.
This was not an interception, by the way. The officials rule that the ball hit the ground, but Wilson is still on the ground.
Yeah, because he doesn't see Eric Davis come at all. He doesn't even feel him. And that just flops him right to the turf. That was the same thing that got Troy Aikman. Remember the first play when Marquez Pope came?
And Jason Garrett gets ready. Oh, we were thinking earlier when the game began it would be Steve Young who'd be the emergency quarterback. Now it's Dallas down to their 3rd quarterback, Jason Garrett.
Right, Wade Wilson has to go out now because when the trainers come out on the field, the player that they come out for has to go out of the game.
Well, of course, anybody around football will remember the Thanksgiving Day performance by this guy last year against the Packers. A very popular member of the Dallas Cowboys.
And a very confident player himself.
Probably knows the offense as well as anyone. 2nd and 10.
Troy Aikman was injured early in the first half, and he's still in the locker room right now. Didn't come back out. Isn't going to play in this game, of course, and you wonder what's going through his mind now as he watches the game.
Understand that Aikman is scheduled for an MRI tomorrow to see the extent of the damage to his left knee. Bob McElwee and 3 of the Dallas coaches.
One thing they could be talking about is Wade Wilson comes out. If Jason Garrett is the emergency quarterback, then Wade Wilson can't come back in until the 4th quarter.
That's correct. Jason Garrett's got to stay now until the 4th quarter. At least. Depends on how he does, I guess.
Because they started out the game where Troy Aikman was the active quarterback, and Wade Wilson was the backup quarterback. And the third quarterback or emergency quarterback is Jason Garrett, who is in there now.
Quarterback, if he comes into the game, neither of the first two quarterbacks are eligible. If the offensive team takes a timeout, the quarterback who was injured may stay in the game.
Well, you heard Bob McElwee explain what's going on. Jason Garrett came in for a visit. Now, if they do take a timeout.
Yeah, because Jason Garrett hasn't played a play yet.
Right.
I wonder why they told him that before. I wonder if they warned him of that before.
I don't know. That may be what that discussion was about.
Well, it was, but you wonder who initiated it.
Yeah.
Did the officials initiate it, or did the Cowboys initiate it?
Is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered.
Wade Wilson back in at quarterback. Hands off to Emmett Smith. Again, you saw Jason Garrett come in at quarterback, and John, exactly is your understanding of what happened?
Well, the officials went over and told the Cowboys that if they take a timeout, that Wade Wilson can then stay in the game. Because, like I said earlier, when the trainers come out, the player has to go out. But if they take a timeout, then he can stay in. So the officials went in and said, if you don't take a timeout now, you can't bring Wade Wilson back into the game. Now, I'm surprised that they did that.
Yeah, I am too.
I would think that the club should know that anyway.
That's Marcus Pope over in front of the Dallas bench. And now the 49er medical staff over having a look at Marquez Pope. I'm just surprised that the officials went over and told them that.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that buyer beware, that, you know, once you do that, you ought to know the rules. And once you put Jason Garrett in, as he's the emergency quarterback again, he wasn't an active quarterback, that he has to stay in.
See what just happened.
Well, look, here's Marquez Pope way back there. And you see his left foot. You just see it right there. He just rolled over his left foot. Watch as the left foot goes down. See the ankle roll over? And he's been playing a heck of a game. I think both these corners, Eric Davis and Marquez Pope, have really played the games of their lives today.
He's been playing since the game that they lost early in the year to Detroit. Marquez Pope was told to lay off the coverage by the coaching staff and their admission, and since that time he's been an excellent player. Tyrone Drakeford comes in right now to take his place.
Well, he's a very physical player, and since that time they've let him play physically.
3rd and 1. Emmett Smith, and I don't know if he got it or not. Gary Plummer up to make the stop. We might have a measurement. I'm sure we'll have a measurement on this one.
Yeah, they have to get the ball, though, to put it down and get it measured. I don't know how they do that. The ball went flying about 10 yards the other way. Now, Bob McElwee saying that he wants a timeout for a measurement. Those two defensive tackles in there, Bryant Young and Dana Stubblefield, they're tough. Then you get Plummer and Norton in there behind them, and there's not a lot of running stuff in that middle against that 49er defense.
6 inches, maybe? You go for it?
I don't think so. I mean, I think you have to punt. I mean, that the rules of the game say you have to punt, even though you're behind 31-10. You want to go for it. The Cowboys are going to go for it. The percentage football here says that you punt,
but they're going for it.
I mean, you can just roll the whole dice right here on this play the whole game.
Clock running, 7:45 left in the 3rd. Smith is deep. The handoff is to Emmett Smith, and he got the first down. For McDonald's game break, let's again return to our studios in Hollywood. James Brown.
Had a tight ball game in Tempe. Take a look at Greg Davis as he boots home a 44-yarder. That narrows the Minnesota gap to 1, 17-16. Arizona trailing in the 3rd. Back to Irving, Pat, and John.
At Texas Stadium, 31-10 San Francisco, 7-10 left to play in the 3rd quarter. 49ers jumped on top early, and they've stayed there. Wilson back to throw it. incomplete. Intended for Novacek. Budweiser game summary turnovers to the 49ers. None, Dallas 3. John, you said at the beginning of the game that was a key. Sent 10 points off those turnovers. Aikman injured, out of the game. He'll have an MRI tomorrow. He's watching, we understand, in the locker room right now. Rice has 4 catches, 155 yards, and the opening touchdown. 2nd and 10. Down.
Yeah, we saw Marquez Pope go out, Pat, a couple plays ago, and they say from the sideline that he has a cramp and that he should return.
Tyrone Drakeford has taken his place.
Yeah, they're trying to get fluids. You know, anytime you get a cramp, they always think that, you know, you don't have enough fluids in you, and you have to get fluids in you. The only thing is you have to get fluids in you a day or two before.
That's if you won't have any cramps. 1st and 10. Emmitt Smith got the first down. Here's Wade Wilson back to throw it. Passes by Kevin Williams.
I think it's about time. I think that's only the 2nd pass caught by a Cowboy wide receiver today. You wonder, you know, why they haven't gotten to this. The other thing you wonder is what was wrong with Wade Wilson that he had to go out of the game to bring Garrett in and then come back when they told him if you go out you can't play anymore, and now he's all right.
Must have had the wind knocked out of him.
It was Nate Newton there. Good pickup on that stunt.
1st and 10. Wilson. Novacek. Out of bounds. Dallas first down. Tyrone Drakeford made the stop. They're going to work on the absence of Marquez Pope.
Yeah, well, they finally found something that they can work on. You know, they know that they can get the ball, Emmitt Smith, eventually if they can get their passing game going. But to get the passing game going, you know, they have to get the ball to the outside. You just can't keep everything inside. You see Jay Novacek that time get to the outside. Williams caught one to the outside. You got to lengthen and widen the field and make them defend the whole field.
1st and 10, Dallas from the San Francisco 32. Novacek on the move. Fake to Smith. Wilson steps up into the pocket. Now he's going to take off with it. Wade Wilson banged out of bounds at the 25. Hit by Drakeford.
I think anytime fans see a quarterback hit, they all think, oh, you ought to throw a flag. But once the quarterback gets out of this area and he starts to do this, he's now just like a running back. He's not a quarterback anymore. He's running with the football, and he's going to get hit like a running back, and that's a good, clean hit.
Nothing
just knocked
wrong
out of
with
bounds.
that.
No. But quarterbacks don't handle it quite as well as running backs do.
They don't fall as often.
No, I mean, the ball goes flying one way, their helmet comes flying, the straps, their legs go flopping.
2nd and 3. Emmitt Smith didn't quite get the first, about a yard shy. Taken out of bounds by Merton Hanks. Woodall, excuse me.
Yeah, we're talking about the inside of this 49er defense being so strong that Emmitt Smith is having to take his runs to the outside, and that's unlike the Cowboys and Emmitt Smith. Most of Emmitt Smith's yards will be between the tackles, but those between the tackle defense of the 49ers has been so strong today that Emmitt Smith is now trying to get outside that area.
3rd and 1. Here's Emmitt Smith. Cuts it up to the 20 for the Dallas first down.
Barry Switzer is still shaking his head.
Yeah.
He's figuring what the heck happened. But I think to me, if I were Barry Switzer, you know, being down 31-10 is a concern. Your team being flat is a concern. Michael Irvin not getting the ball is a concern. But his biggest concern has to be Troy Aikman.
Aikman hurt early, replaced by Wade Wilson. First down, Wilson back to throw. Intended for Novacek, incomplete.
That was almost intercepted by Ken Norton Jr. Talking about that, I saw him earlier. His dad was here, Ken Norton Sr. Champ. In fact, there he is right there. Remember Ken Norton when he fought Muhammad Ali? Won the championship. He and Ken Norton Jr. were kind of separated for a while, and last few months they've been brought back together. That's great.
Emmett Smith again. Hit hard by Gary Plummer. Knocked backwards. Emmett Smith's 17th carry of the game. He has 98 yards.
Yeah, and that's part of that inside run we were talking about. There's Plummer in there, and there's Norton in there, and there's Bryant Young in there, Dana Stubblefield. You know, we're talking about this group, this group right here, and how tough they are in this area. That they just don't give them anything to run. That the tackles take care of that area. The linebackers take care of any area that the tackles don't take care of. The tackles go in one gap, the linebackers take the other gap.
3rd and 9. Blitz coming. Wilson dumped it quickly. Didn't get it over the offensive or defensive lineman.
Again, the fans are booing now. That 3rd down stuff. I mean, the Cowboys are moving and they're moving and they're moving, but they just can't get the ball, keep it going, and get a score.
Bonio on for a field goal attempt. 31-10. This would make it 31-13. 37-yard field goal attempt by Bonio. And he's good. 31-13. 2 minutes, 22 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Dallas, hard to play catch up with field goals, but you got to take them. We'd like to say thank you to the Blockbuster Video Blimp for providing Fox Sports with these beautiful aerial views for today's event.
One thing, they can always find it. I think they're using this stadium for a vector point now for the airport, aren't they? Or they're going to,
They're going to, yeah.
Well, then the Blip ought to be able to use it as a vector point for a game.
Dexter Carter. Out to about the 30 where the 49ers take over.
Well, there's some hitting going on down there, huh? Look at that. I mean, guys are hitting each other, hitting the other guys, and hitting themselves when it's all over.
2 minutes and 8 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter. San Francisco 31, Dallas 13. Offside called against.
That penalty is declined. First down.
The kickoff team, Dallas.
Yeah, the thing is, the Cowboys have been thinking about this game since they were beaten in the championship. Yeah, and they just couldn't wait to get back and get the 49ers today, and everything was against the 49ers like they were going to get them, but the great thing about this game is you don't know what's going to happen, and the 49ers are the champions, and until someone beats them on the field, they're still the champions.
Right now they lead it 31-13. Lavelle straight ahead, wrapped up by Russell Maryland and Brock Marion. It was fine to be waiting for it. One of the outstanding offensive linemen in the NFL, Nate Newton. Fine to be waiting for it, but when your opponent's injured and just hurt a bit, you never really know what to expect.
Yeah, that's when you have to watch out.
Yep.
Because the 49ers came in here, and because they were so banged up, there was a lot of pressure taken off them. And maybe a lot of pressure putting on the Cowboys.
Here's Lavelle again. Not enough for the first down and a flag on the play.
But I still think the big thing is losing Troy Aikman, who coming into today I thought was the best quarterback this year in the NFL. I mean, he was in one of those grooves or zones or whatever you call it that he really had everything going.
Holding number 27.
Holding against Adam Walker.
10 yards, second down.
We're all Adam Walker. I'll guarantee you one thing about Adam Walker. He didn't hold with his left hand. You look at that cast. There's no way he held with that. So if he held him, he ought to show the officials that cast. If he held him, it had to be with something he had left over on that right hand.
Well, they're going to ask him if he held with that left hand or right hand.
He's right in the middle. I think he's right here. You're going to say it can't be the left hand.
It is.
Nah, yeah, but that's not a hold, though. It can't be a hold. I mean, he just threw an arm out there. No, they couldn't do that.
Tried to hook him. Rushed by Hennings. And Maryland, the two defensive tackles. Tony Tolbert also on the ground in the area.
Yeah, they get too excited now. They should have been doing that all day. I mean, you got to get that pocket and push it up. And earlier in that first half, they gave that middle there, Chad Hennings there, they gave Elvis Gerbach way too much time to pass and way too much area to step up in.
And he had a lot of time to check all the receivers. 3rd and 18. Gerbach. Incomplete. J.J. Stokes got tangled up with Larry Brown and Scott Case. That had no chance.
And Deion Sanders was over here covering Jerry Rice, and Deion Sanders is talking to the 49ers on the sideline. Or they're all talking to him. This is a matchup here. You see Deion Sanders miss Jerry Rice, but he has so much speed that he can miss him, and then catch up with him. Jerry Rice is upset because when he got by him, he wants the ball. He says, if I'm going to have a matchup with this guy and I get a step or two and get the ball out there to me, I'll get it.
Tommy Thompson back to punt for San Francisco. Kevin Williams deep for Dallas. High kick. This one can't be returned. Signals fair catch, makes it at about the 46. So the Cowboys will take over as far as the field is concerned in pretty good shape.
I think the Cowboys may have had a trick play, Pat, because Deion Sanders was in on the punt return. And he was over here as a right wing. And I don't know that they weren't going to lateral or do something to him. In the last game, they ran a reverse to him when he was in on the punt return. And that time, I think they were setting up something where they were going to try and lateral it out to him over there. But because the punt was short, they didn't have time to do it.
Short and high, and he had to signal for the fair catch.
But Deion was in there to do something. He wasn't in there to block.
Wade Wilson, 1st and 10 Dallas at their own 47. Wilson back to throw. Pass is picked off by Woodall. Lee Woodall gets the interception. The ball was bounced off the hands of Jay Novacek. And so the 49ers have it in good shape.
Jay Novacek looked funny on that play, Pat. It looked like he's right here. It looked like he relaxed or something before the ball got there, or just as the ball got there. Oh, I see relaxed back. He was knocked down.
Yeah.
Well, he was pushed, and then he fell. Watch him. See, he's pushing. He's just slipping there, and he just got one hand on it, and that knocked the ball right out to Lee Woodall. See, the ball's there, and then he's as he's falling down, he just tips it out.
Interception gives the 49ers a 1st and 10 at their own 48. And again, they'll try to run out the clock with Derek Lavelle. Not much. Turnovers, you talked about it in the beginning. We talked about it. Everyone's talked about it. The turnovers in the championship game when Dallas says we were the better team. Turnovers again have played the key factor.
Well, when your quarterback is out and he's the MVP and he's your best quarterback and your best runner, someone else has to step up, and that someone else is the defense.
That's the end of 3, and it's 31-10. 31-13, sorry. 17-0 San Francisco in the first quarter. Dallas finally got on the scoreboard in the second, but so did San Francisco with 14 more. 31-13. Second down and 9. Elvis Gerbach under pressure. Throws a shovel pass to Adam Walker, who one's hands it.
I think he just threw that left hand to get rid of it. What he was trying to do, I think, was to get to Jerry Rice out here on Deion Sanders. He's laughing. He was. And then that didn't happen. He didn't have anything out there, so then he had a scramble. And you see in the scramble, he just puts it in his left hand, and he throws it out to Adam Walker. Now, that is a play. A right-handed quarterback throwing the ball with his left hand to a guy with a broken thumb and a cast on his hand.
3rd and 5.
For holding. full completion.
3rd and 5, 6 out of 10 on 3rd down. Cowboys blitz. Incomplete. Chris Thomas, the intended receiver. And so the 49ers will have to punt.
Here again, Jerry Rice and Deion Sanders, and you see how physical Deion Sanders is every play. He goes for the shoulders, and a lot of times he ends up in the face, the neck, or the head, or the eyes. But he and Jerry Rice have been having a very, very physical battle for a cornerback and a wide receiver. That's about as physical as it can get out there.
Kevin Williams back deep for the Cowboys. Tommy Thompson, the punter. It's a good kick. Bouncing inside the 10, what looked like disaster turns out to be a break for San Francisco. Great play by Tommy Thompson, the punter.
Tommy Thompson's a hero on that. That was a bad snap. That snap came out at 12 o'clock.
He was lucky to get this off.
I said, whoa! That went right out of the picture.
And he got off a good kick.
To you by Motel 6. When you want a clean, comfortable room for the lowest prices of any national chain, stay with Motel 6. By the all-new Ford Taurus, a look you've never seen from a name you know well. And by Miller Lite. When you've got the great taste of an ice-cold Miller Lite, life is good.
31-13 as the sun starts to set on the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas ball inside their own 10 at the 9. 1st and 10. Wade Wilson, the quarterback. Emmett Smith gets the carry and gets maybe a yard.
Emmett Smith is getting his carries, but Michael Irvin sure isn't getting his catches. If we look at this, Jerry Rice has caught 4 passes today, 155 yards and 1 touchdown. Michael Irvin has only caught 1 ball all day for 9 yards, and at the end of that 9 yards, he fumbled that 1 pass he caught. So this has been a nightmare game for Michael Irvin.
Not only did he fumble it, but Burton Hanks picked it up and scored a touchdown for San Francisco. Still 2nd and 9. Wilson. Down is Wade Wilson. Hit by Alfred Williams. Ball came loose, but he was down.
Alfred Williams almost took that whole thing in. Alfred Williams is here. He's going to come from that outside. You see they're overloaded to that side. He starts outside, and then he comes up inside. Larry Allen didn't get off that, and I don't know that wasn't a fumble. Because what? I mean, he's just hit, and that ball goes out of there. It looks like the ball went out before he was down. You see the stunt coming. Here comes Williams up the middle. Maybe it didn't go out until he got down or the whistle blew.
3rd and 15. Wilson throws it out of the end zone. Emmett Smith runs out of bounds at about the 8-yard line. Right now for a McDonald's game break. Let's return to Hollywood. James Brown.
Pat Vikings with a little breathing room in Tempe. Warren Moon, little fade pattern pass to Chris Carter, the former Buckeye. 24-16. Vikings in the 4th. Back to Pat and John.
12:50 left in the 4th. 4th and 11. Dexter Carter back deep for San Francisco. John Jett will be punting out of the end zone. This one can be returned. Dexter Carter inside the 30 to about the 28. Jim Schwantz made the stop. But the 49ers take over in Dallas territory at their 28. They lead it 31-13. 12:32 left in the 4th quarter. Very quiet inside Texas Stadium. The unlucky 10. This is something that's been talked about all week. As the Cowboys have lost the 10th game of the year. 9 straight years. Ted Thompson makes the reception. reception, gets down inside the 20 to about the 18, near a first down.
Now the 49ers are starting to use some of that 49er offense of that Steve Young plays, that bootleg that he runs so well. But when Steve Young is in there, the bootleg is to the left. That time Elvis Gerbach took the bootleg to the right. In fact, that's what they do. That's how they change the game plan. That play passes for Steve Young and bootlegs are usually to the left, and for Gerbach, the play passes and the bootlegs are usually to the right.
There's a player down, I think, on the near sideline.
Steve Young is starting to look more and more like a coach, isn't he? Even when he talks to Elvis Gerbach, you see how he
doesn't want to.
Crosses his arms. Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. See, with that arms crossed, that's a coach's stance. That's not a player's stance. Players do not stand with their arms crossed. Coaches do.
That's Darren Woodson, who's the injured Cowboy.
But Elvis Gerbach has played a heck of a game today. I mean, he did everything that he's had to. He hasn't done anything stupid. He hasn't forced anything. He's just run a perfect game today.
He seemed not cocky by any means, but very sure of himself yesterday when we talked with him.
Because I think he knew he was going to play. Remember, we talked to him last week, and on Saturday, he wasn't sure he was going to start. Then when we talked to him yesterday, I asked him when he knew he was going to start, and he said he knew he was going to start on Thursday. Because Steve Young tried it on Wednesday and then couldn't take practice on Thursday, so he knew then. And I think that's very, very important in a quarterback's preparation.
More so at that position than anywhere.
Yeah, in fact, if I ever went back to coaching, with all the coaches you have in football and all the assistants, I would have an assistant just to coach backup quarterbacks. I think it's that important because look at this game. I mean, you have Elvis Gerbach starting, you have Wade Wilson coming in, and you need someone to coach those guys all the time.
This is Derek Lavelle, left side on first down. Well, and you almost know with the length of the season now and the athletic ability of the players that your starting quarterback is going to miss some plays.
Yeah, and then in the way the football is today, you have, so many situations you have to practice that the starting quarterback gets all the practice plays. So I think that the backup quarterback should have their own coach and their own way to get prepared.
2nd and 7. Dexter Carter split wide to the left. Lavelle in motion. Gerbach. Rice gets a 49er first down out of bounds at about the 6.
They're still working on Darren Woodson's shoulder there. Well, a lot of times that happens where you get your arm out and someone runs into your arm and it goes to your shoulder. They're checking to see how. That's not bad. If you can lift it that high right after you hurt it, that's not bad. I'm not a doctor, but...
You're not a doctor?
No. But they're still checking it.
Well, he had shoulder surgery in the off-season so far. Apparently hasn't given him problems. 3rd and 1. Lavelle. Should be enough for the first.
I don't think you can give enough credit to this 49er offensive line because we talked about this. Not only the run block him, you watch him, here everything is going to come to this right side, and you see him start off with a good double team, a good lead block, and that's all you need to get a first down on short yardage. But I think this offensive line in the first half, when Gerbach needed some confidence, needed some time, this offensive line gave it to him. And that's when I think they won the game.
1st and goal at the 5. 3 wide receivers. Timeout San Francisco. Gerbach heads for the sideline to talk it over, indicating that the clock was running down. He had to take it. The Blockbuster Video Blimp is touring the United States in celebration of Blockbuster Video's 10th anniversary. Today it made a stop at Texas Stadium.
How long does it take to tour the United States in a blimp? I mean, like if they went from here to California, it takes me about...
On a bus?
Yeah, on the bus, about 30 hours.
don't you try the blimp?
I bet I could beat the blimp. I wouldn't mind. I'm going from here to California after the game. Right out Highway 20, then right out 10. And if they want a race, I'll give them a race. Blockbuster, just get above me and follow me.
You're on. I've already got word. You're on.
They're on?
Yeah.
Okay, get that thing warmed up. Keep it in the air. We'll be on the ground. We'll see you.
Why don't you go on the blimp?
No, I'd never do that. You're crazy.
And they're saying he did not get in. The pass was complete to Ted Thompson.
Oh, and Elvis Gerbach wanted a touchdown there. That was that bootleg again.
Yep.
We talked about how the 49ers run that so much with Steve Young to the left. Watch the bootleg here. You fake to the backs to the right, to the left, then you come out to the right. Throw the ball to Popson here now. Again, did the ball break the plane? Nope, he was down before the ball got there. That was right.
About the 1 foot line.
Yep. You see when the knee goes down, where the ball is. Oops, I missed that one. That's where the ball is when the knee goes down.
Quarterback sneak. Touchdown. 38-13. If they kick the extra point. The way things have gone, you got to figure they will.
And this is these guys on this sideline know it. This is the 3rd time in a row. You know, this isn't, I think this is the biggest shock, though. When the 49ers beat them in regular season last year, beat them in the championship game last year. I think the Cowboys thought they were going to win those. Were disappointed they didn't. But I think they felt real confident about this one.
They said in many cases we were the best team last year in both those games. This year we'll show them we were the better team.
Yeah, but you got to do it on the field, and they haven't done that yet.
38-13. 8:40 left to play.
Brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered.
This game is presented by the authority of the National Football League. Is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Dallas Cowboys and the National Football League is prohibited. Kevin Williams fields the kickoff at about the 5. Gets it out to about the 30. 38-13 San Francisco. 8.5 minutes still left to play.
You just have to think the job that these 49ers did. I mean, after losing to New Orleans and Carolina Panthers back-to-back and everyone being down on them and having to come in here and play the Cowboys, and no one gave them much of a chance.
No.
I'll tell you, they brought a lot of fight in here today.
They sure did.
I mean, on all sides of the ball. I mean, it's not only an offensive thing and a Jerry Rice and a Gerbach, but a defensive thing, special teams.
Wade Wilson gets it out to Emmitt Smith, and Emmitt just strolls out of bounds. Right now, let's return to James Brown in our Hollywood studio.
All right, Pat, Buddy's Cardinals have bounced back. Dave Craig, take a look. Finds a tight end. Wendell Gaines for the touchdown. They come back. Successful 2-point conversion to Rob Moore. All tied in Tempe. 7:50 left in the game. Let's take you back to Irving. Pat and John.
Not anywhere nearly tied, JB, at Texas Stadium. It's 38-13. San Francisco leading Dallas. Sherman Williams has replaced Emmitt Smith. Wade Wilson back to throw. Michael Irvin made the reception, his second catch all day long.
And I think the two groups, we talked about the offensive line of the 49ers. I think that really helped start the thing. And then this defensive secondary of the 49ers, especially the two corners, Marquez Pope and Eric Davis, I think they played an excellent game today.
Everybody on that defensive unit played an excellent game. The 3 linebackers, the 4 up front, those who replaced them, everybody.
But when Michael Irvin only catches 1 pass up until 8 minutes left to go in the game, he did a heck of a job.
Eric Bjornsson makes him close to a first down. Wade Wilson got whacked again.
I remember the last time they got whacked, they took him out and they brought in Jason Garrett, and then they said, well, if you bring in Jason Garrett, he has to stay in the lineup unless you take a timeout. So they took a timeout and brought Wade Wilson back, and he's been in ever since.
Wade Wilson holding his left hand.
He hit that left hand when he went down. You can see the quarterbacks today of the Cowboys. They were sacked twice, hurried 2 times, knocked down 3 times, but 3 of those knockdowns, 2 of them were by corners, and those 2 corner knockdowns hurt the Dallas Cowboy quarterback. They had 3 interceptions, but I think that first one, remember when Marquez Pope blitzed Troy Aikman, I think that was a play that started him down.
Play that started Aikman's injury. He went over and they looked at his leg on the sideline in between the next 2 series. Then when he came back, you could tell he was limping, and he went down again under Dana Stubblefield. And here they are back in the first quarter.
There's the first one. Here's Marquez Pope coming off the corner early in the game, and you see Aikman's left knee. And right after that, Dana Stubblefield on a pass rush comes and gets him and watches his left knee there. That's the play that put Troy Aikman out of the game.
Now it's the fourth quarter. Wade Wilson has gone to the sideline. He could come back now because we're in the fourth quarter. But right now, Jason Garrett is the quarterback. 2nd and 1. Outside to Bjornsson. Dallas gets the first down. Stops the clock.
Eric Bjornsson will be going home next week. He's from Oakland. He went to high school in Oakland, and of course the Cowboys play the Oakland Raiders next week at the Coliseum.
They didn't stop the clock. I'm not sure why. He caught the ball, went out of bounds. Clock's still running. Ricky Jackson has had a heck of a day. So has the entire defensive line.
Remember that interception early by Ricky Jackson? That was a big play.
Garrett gets it to Sherman Williams. Williams to the 20. Knocked down by Gary Plummer. Following football, don't forget, space above and beyond, except on the West Coast. Following football, Sherman Williams gets down to the 49er 19-yard line. We could call that, I guess, your race with the blimp.
Well, I'm ready. I don't know if they're going to. I don't know if they're going to go or not. I mean, they could go in a more straight line, but I think I can take a blimp.
Garrett. Pass deflected.
I wonder if they've started yet. Is that blimp still up there, or do you think they've started?
If I could only go 35, I'd be leaving now.
Yeah, they may be getting a head start. See right there, that was Dennis Brown got that hit.
Well, the blimp's still up there. They haven't left yet. They're waiting to see if you accept.
I don't know. Oh, yeah, there's a blimp there. No, I accept. I mean, I'll race them to California. I'll race them to Oakland. But don't take off till I'm ready.
Here's Jason Garrett back to throw again. Michael Irvin steps out of bounds just inside the 10.
Remember, Michael Irvin was going for an all-time NFL record of consecutive games over 100 yards. But until this series here, he only had one for 7 yards or 9 yards, and he's not going to get that record today. And the tough thing about a record like that, when you know it's consecutive games, once obviously you don't get it, then you have to start all over. But I think the thing that's going to bother Michael Irvin more than that is going to be getting beaten by the 49ers and losing his quarterback, Troy Aikman, who's going to have an MRI tomorrow.
Not only getting beaten, but getting beaten so badly, so impressively. 38-13 the score.
And then having Jerry Rice on the other side being a big part of that beating you.
This game hasn't been close since early. touchdown, he gets the first. Clock running with 4:50 left to play as they unpile. First down, Dallas inside the 10, first and goal.
At 94, you look at 94 there, Dana Stubblefield. Talk about guys, we talked about the corners, the secondary, Tim McDonald, but 94 has done a heck of a job in there too, because when you can control Emmitt Smith, and that's all they've done. I mean, they didn't stop Emmitt Smith, but they've controlled Emmitt Smith. Your middle has to be strong or he's going to run up and down the field on you.
They've done a good job of that. Darrell Johnson put out wide to left. Gets the touchdown catch. 2 flags on the play.
I bet you
Marquez Pope was the defender.
I bet you Michael Irvin doesn't even celebrate that one, because he knows celebrations and records are good.
23 defense. The penalty is declined. Touchdown.
If it goes with winning, then it's good. You know, but if winning doesn't come with it, then there's really nothing to celebrate. And Michael Irvin is a pro. He's a tough guy, and he realizes that.
And a very good pro.
He realizes he got a touchdown, and he did that, but he didn't help his team win a game today. Or that play didn't help win a game. If it doesn't help win a game, then all it is a play.
Bonio will try the extra point. Novacek stays in the hole. Minutes, 19 seconds left to play. San Francisco leading it. Jason Garrett.
And he's looking all the way to Michael Irvin. On Marquez Pope. Pope has a penalty on that play, but Irvin goes up and gets it. And again, Michael Irvin is a real pro. Yeah, I mean, he has, you know, receiving yards is a new team record. He passed Tony Hill today. But to me, that guy is a real pro when he knows that if that didn't help win the game, then it doesn't mean anything, because you play this game for one thing, to win. And if it's not part of winning, then you can just throw that ball anywhere. There's nothing to celebrate. If you're wearing a white jersey today, there is nothing to celebrate. And the real pros know that. And Michael Irvin's a real pro.
That was the owner of the Cowboys, Jerry Jones, over talking with Michael Irvin. Harris Barton, the rest of his offensive line did a heck of a job there.
Harris Barton leads the league in worry.
Yeah.
And he's even worried now when they're winning.
38-20.
Look at this alignment here. This is an onside kick thing. You get all those guys over there, and you're going to onside kick to that side. Look, and they're going to all go down there. Kick it. It has to go 10 yards before you can touch it if you're the kicking team.
The 49ers with a flag on the play. Brett Carolyn fielded it and got down in a hurry. Bob McElwee heading back to find out what the violation might be.
Offside, number 87 on the kicking team. Penalty will be declined. First down.
First down, San Francisco. Billy Davis.
See, now look, they're all up there. They're all lined up here, but you don't want to win the race to this line here because the ball has to be kicked. But see, they all start boom, boom, boom. And one of them about 3 of them went across before the ball was kicked. What the hell? How'd they pick out one guy?
Don't forget, coming up after football, space above and beyond, except on the West Coast.
That'll be me and the blimp. They'll be above and I'll be beyond.
Beyond them.
There you talk when you're competing. They're above and I'm beyond.
Bring them on. That's Adam Walker. 4 minutes now left to play. Today's game being produced by Bob Stinner and directed by Sandy Grossman. Studio is produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. The executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill.
The only thing I'll say about that blimp, only one more thing. Anything that hovers can't go fast. That's all I'll say.
Let me think about that.
No, I mean, anything that's if you're a good hoverer, you're slow. Like the guy who hands in the middle there, you know, I'll take the screen, I'll take the throw, you guys run the faster. He's a hoverer.
That's Adam Walker straight ahead. You're passing out accolades to the defense, the whole unit, the offensive line, the game plan. Elvis Gerbach did a heck of a job.
Well, he did, and I think that a lot of it was that offensive line.
Yeah.
I think they gave him time early. I think that first pass that he hit to Jerry Rice, and Jerry Rice just broke it right through the defense. I think all those things gave him confidence, but as you said, you still have to give him credit because he did it.
He's the trigger man. 3rd and 2. Close to first down yardage. Derek Lavelle.
This was the thing that got him started. This first pass here is just a short pass, but if you can get it to Jerry Rice, he just split. It was a zone defense by the Cowboys. Jerry Rice split it. That got Elvis Gerbach going, and that got Jerry Rice going.
And that just started things. Here's Michael Irvin. And there's the fumble.
This was the next play, and then Merton Hanks picks it up and gets the score. And this is how the 49ers got started, and they didn't look back all day.
And before anybody got settled down, they were ahead 14-0. That's Derek Lavelle, hit behind the line by Robert Jones. We're going to get the 2-minute warning before they run another one.
And then shortly after that Merton Hanks play, Troy Aikman went out of the game.
38-20. San Francisco leading. This Friday, catch the show that's like nothing else on television. People magazine calls Strange Luck one of the most unique and inventive new series since The X-Files. Don't miss a brand new Strange Luck. Friday at 8, 7 Central on Fox. 49ers leading the Cowboys 38-20. Each team has 2 timeouts remaining. Dejected Dallas sideline.
Yeah, because they'd been looking forward to this game again since that championship game.
Ricky Irvin swings wide left. Robert Jones wrestled him down. Dallas defense points allowed. The season average is 15.8. Today it's 38. Not all by the defense.
No, a lot of that was turnovers, and a lot of that was caused by the 49er defense. And this big offensive line today just never had a chance to get started. I mean, the 49er defense did a good job against them, and the 49er offense kept them off the field a lot.
Gerbach again to Ricky Irvin. Down close to first down yardage. Again, a reminder, following our football coverage, space above and beyond, except on the West Coast. That's coming up. Less than a minute. 38-20 San Francisco.
We're going to have a good one next week when these Cowboys now, they're going to have to regroup. This is going to be a long week for the Cowboys, the organization, the players here in Dallas before they go out to Oakland next week to meet the Raiders.
Dallas record will be, it was 4th and 1, and Ricky Irvin's didn't get it. Dallas record will be 8-2. Philadelphia plays Denver tonight. The 49ers go to 6-4. The Rams won today. They're 6-4. Atlanta lost today, so they're 6-4.
And look at George Seifert smile.
There are the standings I was just talking about. The 49ers back tied for the lead with Atlanta and St. Louis.
I'll tell you, we've seen Atlanta, we've seen San Francisco, we've seen St. Louis, and San Francisco is by far the best team of that group.
But last week, they were beaten by Carolina, the expansion team.
Yeah, but they're down a little bit. You know, they proved a lot today. I think if they didn't play the way they did today, their season could have been over.
Could have been. You're exactly right.
Because there was talk about it, you know, you ought to do this. You can win at the end. Don't worry about the Cowboy game. Don't try that. You can't play that. These guys did just the opposite of that today.
Elvis Gerbach has been named the Miller Lite Player of the Game, and deservedly so. And his mood yesterday was very positive, and again it was today, as he leads the 49ers over the Cowboys 38-20. So for John Madden and Pam Oliver, this is Pat Summerall saying so long from Texas Stadium, where the final score was San Francisco 38, Dallas 20. You've been watching Fox Sports coverage of the National Football League.